Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome in. Happy Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. Boy, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be very interesting. The entire time, I'm just going to be plugging in this mouse. Oh, some things are better left not rechargeable, and a mouse seems like one of those things. It seems like it would be much easier to just swap out some batteries real quick. Done. But I guess I should have checked beforehand. Literally, right as I finished the last link, the mouse just went dead. I'm like, whoa, whoa, how am I supposed to do this? So I literally have it charging when I'm not using it, and we'll see how far we get. But welcome in, everybody. My name is Todd, if you're unfamiliar. This is the Todd Reacts live stream. This is how I'm basically doing these reactions at this point. We live stream it on Twitch, and then the upload, the video in its entirety is uploaded to YouTube, and you can check it out there. There's over 1,000 reaction videos on the YouTube, so check that channel out. But if you're here watching live on Twitch, welcome. Appreciate you being here. And I hope you had a wonderful weekend. We have 5 amazing videos today, and I know you're going to love them. Actually, I don't know that. I haven't seen the videos, but I'm taking a guess, and I'm going to say you're going to love them. But I had some interesting experiences over the weekend. I was working on merch. As you saw, the fall-winter collection is dropping tonight, literally in a couple hours. And I will be making that switch on the website. Shouldn't take too long. You know, I kind of have it down at this point, but I'll be pulling down the summer collection and putting up the fall-winter collection, which is awesome. Looking forward to it. Ships worldwide, as you saw on that little screen there. Members on the website save 15%. Got some great items. Not just clothing items, but accessories as well. I always try to refresh those. The accessories never really go away. They just kind of stay there. They're like a constant, and I just add to it over time with each drop. Just, you know, I always check out the catalog, see what's available, what can I customize, what can I find some sort of use for, something that'll be interesting to you all. And I always test it myself, so I did get a bunch of samples, which is awesome. But I always want to make sure the quality's there and the design is there before you all start buying things. So I'm happy to report things are great. Things are great. I didn't screw up the designs. But very excited for that. Later tonight, I did have some Five Guys over the weekend. I don't know if you are aware of what this is. It's basically a burger chain, you know, kind of like McDonald's. I feel like McDonald's is something I can say that everybody understands just because it's universal at this point. Or Starbucks, I guess, but it's not really the same thing. But yeah, it's more of a sit-down fast. It's weird. It's like a sit-down fast food. But the prices are very sit-down. The prices are high, very high for what you get, which is interesting. I hadn't had it in probably a decade. Quite a few years. And what makes it interesting is, number one, the prices. Number two, the fries are just unbelievable. So it is expensive. If you get a large fry, it's like $8 US, which is crazy. That should be the price of a burger, right? But they give you a large paper cup or whatever, put it in the bag, and then they literally take a scoop of French fries and just pour it over everything else. Like your burger, the napkins, literally just pour it over everything and just not fill the bag, but just, it seems like there's a lot. So it is a lot of French fries. And I got the Cajun seasoning, and boy, did they not scrimp on the Cajun seasoning. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Have you ever been to a restaurant and they said seasoned fries and it was barely seasoned? Like it seems like it, you know, they kind of threw the seasoning past the French fries, and a couple little specks of some interesting stuff stuck to it. Maybe some pepper, maybe some garlic or whatever. But oh my gosh, they were doused in Cajun seasoning. I literally felt my blood pressure just go through the roof as I was having each French fry. It's like, oh my gosh, they taste delicious. Don't get me wrong, but whoa, way too much, way too much. They cook them in peanut oil. I know because my friend's husband is very allergic. It's what makes the fries yummy, though. Yeah, indeed, they are delicious. They are absolutely delicious. But wow, if you get the Cajun seasoning, just be prepared. It's going to be seasoned. I literally brought the ketchup out because I usually have ketchup with my French fries, and I found this nice ketchup that has like jalapeno mixed in, so it's kind of like a spicy ketchup. And it's nice. It kind of adds a little wrinkle to the normal ketchup flavor. And I brought it out, and these things were so seasoned, I didn't even dare put ketchup on it because I'm just going to add to it. There's so much flavor already. What am I doing with ketchup, right? So there was no point to that. But yeah, it was very tasty, I'll say that. But very, let's just say I probably won't be going back for a while. But it was good. It was good. But yeah, this weekend has been very merch heavy. Final touches, and had some website issues while I was doing it, and it was just kind of a lot. And then I did some ads. You saw one before the stream started. I have another one coming out, and I'll put it on the Instagram and everything else. But yeah, you'll see it, and very excited for it. Very excited. Got some amazing items coming out. I've got some ideas for next summer collection that I think you're gonna like. Time to get a little creative, I'd say. That's my hint. I'm getting a little creative. But all right. So the 5 videos we have today, we're gonna start off with a 911 video, and then we're gonna go to another 911 video. So if you're big into 911, you're gonna have a lot of fun in the opening parts here. And then we're gonna go over to a supernatural video. Not a supernatural video, but a video of supernatural. You know what I mean? And then we're going to follow it up with a Vampire Diaries video, and we are going to end with a TikTok compilation of the show, the K-drama, My Demon. So that should be pretty interesting. The good lineup. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are as well. Let's go ahead and see if this mouse will work. Hopefully it does. All right. How much percentage? I was on 1%. How much percentage do you think we just got? 17. That should be more than enough, I think. I literally have a portable, oh God, full charger right next to me. That's for any sort of like power outage or anything like that. It is heavy, but I think we'll make it. I think we will. If you would like to request your own videos, head on over toddreacts.com. You can actually see the gift to Twitch chat on there as well. That's funny. That always pops up when I'm live on Twitch. So that's also another good way to find out. Also, you'll see it up here. The Twitch channel or the Twitch logo will actually have the live show up above it. Kind of interesting. Little touches here and there, right? But yeah, if you'd like to request a video, you have something in mind, head on over to toddreacts.com. The season and series tiers are how you can request. Yeah. And while you're there, check out the summer collection. Literally at the top, you can see the countdown. 6 hours remaining. Just over 6 hours remaining. And then we'll be swapping out for the fall-winter collection. So when it says available for a limited time, that means it's available for a limited time. 6 hours left. Go ahead and check it out. Obviously, I'm wearing the hoodie down here. And while you're there, check out the accessories. Lots of great things there. Obviously, this is the insulated tumbler. I drink from it pretty much every stream. Actually, since I've received it, I've used it for literally every stream. It's amazing. Keeps my drink cold, which is literally just water. Stay hydrated out there, you know. Lots of great stuff here. I take the water bottle to work, so I use that quite a lot as well. And it is getting colder. The soft and cozy throw blanket. It is literally soft and cozy. I wrote that title because I felt it, and I was like, wow, this is really nice. This is super nice. So I did the soft and cozy there. And you can check out the rest of the stuff. Amazing. The coffee mug is actually right back there. I can barely see it because it's so blurred out, but it's there. And water. Yes, indeed. Water indeed. It is a weekday. It is a weekday. If it was the Friday stream, maybe I'll, partake in something else. But head on over to youtube.com/ and then it's the @ symbol, Todd Reacts. That's like a quick way to get to a channel if you happen to know their name. Todd Reacts, just over 12,700 subscribers. Looking to get that number up by the end of the year. Somewhere over 20, I think would be great. Maybe 25 if we could, which shouldn't be too difficult because last month in August, just over 93,000 viewers of the channel were not subscribed. So if you haven't subscribed, this is my plea. This is my bargain. It's a free way to support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. It's easy. And yeah, do it today. I appreciate it. It doesn't mean anything monetarily, as I have said before, but it's a nice little morale boost, and also it's a boost for the channel just as people are around the YouTube ecosystem and whatnot. Maybe they'll be like, oh, this channel has lots of subscribers. I'll check it out. It could be very much like the difference between 12,000 subscribers and, I don't know, 50,000 subscribers. It could be, an incredible person added to the community. Joins the Discord, gets involved, all that good stuff. So it just kind of adds a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? Clout? I hate that word. It adds a little bit more esteem to the channel, which might get more people to check it out and hang out with us. So just kind of a nice, easy way to do that. So if you're watching today, which 88% of you are watching and not subscribed, according to last month. So go ahead and subscribe today. It is wonderfully easy, and YouTube makes it that way for a reason. They want more people, right? And I do too. So go ahead and join today. I appreciate it. And yeah, while you're at it, go ahead and join the Discord. There we go. Join the Discord. It is free. It's available under every video, the link to it, as well as the website, toddreacts.com, and on the Twitch profile. It's awesome. We have over 140 members. Lots of nice people, lots of great discussions. If you're into anything, 142 members. Appreciate it, Jace. If you're into anything or you're like a fan of something, chances are you're going to find somebody who's interested in it. And you're going to have wonderful discussions. It's awesome. You post like social media posts and talk about it and videos and whatever, maybe new projects. Maybe you see something down the horizon on IMDb, you post it in there, and then you start talking about it, what it could be like, all that good stuff. Like, it's an amazing atmosphere, environment, community, whatever words you want to use. It's amazing. As you can see pretty quickly, everybody's very welcoming and nice. So yeah, join today. I think you'll enjoy it. And if you don't see something you're into as a channel, go ahead and head on over to the Request a Channel, and we will make it for you. And people will filter in, and you can meet new people. It's awesome. It's super cool. So go ahead and check it out. I'm just kind of scrolling through here so you can see what's in there. Very cool. So join today. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. It's a very welcoming place. We're all very nice. And I do my updates, as you can see that channel there. Basically just an announcements channel, which means basically I can post in there. And it usually just means maybe stream's a little late, maybe the video has been blocked and I have to edit it, so it might take longer to upload. I just let people know and let everybody know what's going on with the channel. Maybe a stream has to be moved to a different day. Hasn't happened yet, but who knows? You know, life is unpredictable, right? So join today. You'll get first access to any sort of updates, and you'll have a lot of fun there as well. Yay! All right, let me see if... Oh, I don't have that selected. Okay. There we go. I think I had to adjust this based on... I think one of the videos last time had a weird aspect ratio, so I had to adjust it a little bit. But I think we'll be all right. Just working on that right now. Actually, this one's kind of a weird aspect ratio too. It just happens that way. All right, let's go ahead and bring up the first video. It is Bobby and Athena Buck and Eddie from 911. Let's go ahead and jump in, shall we? Hopefully the audio is good.
So how'd you make it happen for you and Athena?
We got called to a motorcycle accident. It was a bad one. I wasn't at my best at the time. Needed to take a minute. She sat with me. Eventually, I asked her to go to church, and we prayed together.
So you definitely weren't looking for her.
Must be rough.
Raising any child alone is rough.
And you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay, kid.
Isn't just about me and Bobby. It's about us. The three of us choosing to make Bobby a part of our family.
He doesn't get to win because you're not going to stop fighting. That is who you are.
As tough as me. He's fighting.
Thanks for coming to get me.
Always.
Thanks for coming.
Keep thinking about the argument she and I had about Layla.
Go ahead and turn down this air
That's
conditioning.
not the relationship I ever
A little
wanted
warm.
to have with my daughter.
He locked himself in his room, and he hasn't talked to me since.
What's that saying? Having a kid is like walking around with your heart outside your body.
It's a good saying.
Offered retirement and you dismiss it, and I'm kept completely in the dark about it.
I'm leaving the 118.
Oof.
We're not partners because that's how you want it.
No, but he filed a stupid lawsuit. Now I can't even talk to you because of it.
I'm sorry. I overreacted. I should have let you know what was going on instead of trying to prove some point.
Look, I'm sorry. I wasn't there, Eddie. You and Chris needed me, and I had my head so far up my own behind with that stupid lawsuit.
Way past that, bud.
I'm not. I should have been there.
You know, after I was attacked, we never really talked about it.
I always got the sense you didn't want to.
No, I mean, we never talked about what it was like for you.
Now, what about you? How is it being back out there?
Because losing someone you love is such an alien concept, you don't want to imagine what it's like.
It's weird.
Makes sense.
Team feels off without Eddie.
And I was sitting in that engine thinking I was listening to you dying.
Bobby's gonna die in there, Bob. You need to help.
Yikes.
Look, as soon as they make their move, he's gonna shoot Eddie. There's gotta be a way to talk him down, get him to surrender.
I'm going in. Now tell me what to do.
I should be the one to go down.
So we can end up with two cut lines?
I got you.
Come on. All right, come back to me. Come on.
We're minutes away. We're so close.
We're gonna need a lot of blood.
We're so close. I need you to hang.
I'm right here. Stay with us.
Oriel,
You stay with me, okay?
requesting a trauma unit.
Bobby!
There is so much more to this that I did not know. Like the fact that Bobby went through some stuff. Obviously, I'm aware of Eddie getting shot, but it seems like there's quite a few more ups and downs that I wasn't privy to in some of these edits. So this is kind of eye-opening, honestly.
Hey, Buck.
Hey.
Same shooter shot Bobby. What? How did I not know that?
How long was it stopped?
3 minutes and 17 seconds.
Almost 14 minutes.
You had an issue with firefighters?
Just talk to me. I know what it's like to lose.
Look, man, you don't need to pretend with me.
I'm worried about you.
I'm worried about you.
Show up. What is it? What are you so afraid of?
What are you afraid of?
I don't understand.
Easy to
why you
ask,
wouldn't talk to me
hard to
about
answer, right?
You need to tell me if something is wrong. So every day is the best day ever. Is that really love? Right? Shouldn't it be when you're at your worst, they're at their worst, you have every reason to give up and you still decide you want to try again?
Yes. Life is not, a bed of roses. Definitely some ups and
I mean,
downs.
isn't that what we all want in a partner? Knowing that they have your back?
Captain Nash, firefighter Evan Buckley.
Forgot how paralleled the two pairs are. Bobby and Athena. People always say they're Buck's true parents. Yeah, honestly, that's kind of the vibe I was getting from Bobby and Athena. Is that number one? Bobby was very parental with Buck, so it just kind of blends well into that. Obviously, they have a few years on Buck and Eddie. That's a nice way to put it. But yeah, I'm seeing that as well. I probably wouldn't have put that together. I usually don't put things like that together until it's like shown to me, and I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, that's pretty impressive. Number one, the resiliency of the characters, of course. Be in the line of duty, and all those terrible things that can go wrong. That's why they wear so much protective equipment, because they're presuming something's going to go wrong. And it usually does, at least once or twice. Obviously, maybe not thinking of a shooter. That's why they're not wearing bulletproof vests when they go into houses or a situation. But, yeah, wow. What an interesting show. I mean, there's been so many firefighter shows over the years, and it's just because it's a very interesting occupation. If it's a small enough town, it's volunteer, which means they're not getting paid. They're actively volunteering to put themselves in danger for the community, which is super noble. Even if they're getting paid, it's still very noble. It's always seen kind of like that. It doesn't have nearly the amount of issues with the public or just perception that police officers do, just because it's a totally different job. It's less making decisions as a officer of the court, basically, and it's much more like, all right, how are they going to save these people? Sometimes they save everybody, sometimes they don't, but those stories are, I don't know if, I can't remember the last time I heard a story of firefighters refusing to go into a building and multiple people dying. Like, I haven't heard that in a while, but I've definitely seen a few stories of police officers not going into situations and people dying because of it. But then again, of course, there's probably fires that get too out of control, and I don't hear about it often, though. I don't know why that is. Is there like a media silence on that? Like, what is happening? But yeah, I don't hear about it often. I think everybody just kind of digs firefighters. I don't know why, but I guess it's due to the fact that it's seen as a very selfless act, even if they're getting paid. Peter Krause, who plays Bobby, has said Bobby sees Eddie as the one most like him. It's about 50-50 paid volunteers in my town. Yeah, it's always interesting. You know, I don't think I've lived in a place with volunteers, but, you know, obviously I've driven through areas that have volunteer firefighters and know about it. So it's always something that I just think of and I go, wow, that is pretty amazing that people would actively volunteer for that. My brother just applied to be fire service, actually. Wow, awesome. That's very cool. I hope he gets it.
No regrets. I know that I'm where I'm meant to be.
I guess I can only hope to find something that good.
You don't find it, son. You make it.
Wow. Wow. Link down below in the YouTube description for the original video and edit. Go throw it some love. And also check out the channel. They currently have 43 subscribers. So go ahead and check out that channel. Throw it some love. Maybe they have other videos that you might be interested in. Gosh. Yeah, there is a lot of parallel there. Number one, I didn't realize it. And number two, I had no idea about the shooter going after both of them. I don't know why. I've had to have seen Bobby in the hospital before in some of these edits. I just don't remember it. Good grief. That was a great edit. That was a very good edit. Kudos to the editor for putting that together and making those connections as well and making it seem so one for one. Athena, I think I'm saying that right, is a romantic relationship between Bobby and Athena. Yeah, definitely said that right. They're married. First meeting reports a different anomaly. The burn patterns and untouched electrical switches prelude circuit issues instead, starting where Victor was found, drawing Athena's attention as running into the fire is clearly an unusual act. Bobby then picks up what remains of a 9-volt battery connected to some cables, which they both assume an improvised incendiary device. I would assume that. The two speculate it is an arson. Victor set the fire, but Freddy returned to receive a PC and prompts Victor to ineffectually eliminate the fire. If it weren't for their subsequent efforts, the fraud would have slipped unnoticed. Yeah, 9-volt battery, some cables, wires. That's definitely it. Becoming romantically involved after Chimney departs, Bobby puts his tie back in the room and disposes of his handbook in the trash can as Abby's monologue plays. Hen convinces Karen to move back into the residence while Chimney spends the night watching soccer with his friends. Buck bids Abby farewell at the airport whilst Bobby greets Athena for their date. I don't know what 90% of that had to do with it other than this. What? Growing closer after their deaths and an investigation that determined it was an accident, Bobby went into rehab and located to the LAPD, where he first met Field Sergeant Athena. Bobby and Athena started dating at the end of season 1, eventually married in season 2. Yeah, because I think the show starts with Athena married, correct? Married with kids, I believe. But a definitely failing marriage. It was the end montage of the season 1 finale. Oh, okay. Getting engaged. But then again, this is all new to Bobby, and considering the places he's been, it does make sense for him to digest the information and not make a spur-of-the-moment decision. Bobby's proposal was heartfelt. Beautifully stated. And Athena shutting him up because he had her at hello was totally in line with who she is. Oh, gosh. Getting married, Bobby later returns home and proposes to marry Athena immediately at a courthouse, with them, Harry and May. After Bobby amuses Athena, he proposes getting Harry and May from school, while Athena reveals she already has a wedding dress. Oh my gosh. They meet at the location shortly after, where Bobby grafts the ring to Athena. Harry and May embrace them as they kiss. Well, that's sweet. That is sweet. Fucking Eddie. Best friends, friendship, Buddy is the name. When Eddie joins the 118 in Under Pressure, Buck immediately acts coldly towards him because he feels threatened by Eddie's presence, as well as how quickly and seamlessly he becomes part of the team. Hostility is short-lived, however, as the two bond over a dangerous situation that involves taking a live grenade out of a 911 caller's leg. Good grief. Once the grenade is safely obtained, Eddie commends Buck for being a badass under pressure. And they vow to have each other's back, which effectively consolidates the beginning of their friendship. From then on, they work together harmoniously while on the job. Buck introduces Eddie to Carla when he finds out that Eddie is struggling to find some permanent help in taking care of his son, Christopher, who was born with cerebral palsy. And Eddie confides in Buck about the dilemma he faces with letting his estranged wife, Shannon, back into Christopher's life. The relationship becomes stronger, obviously. When Eddie's required to attend therapy sessions after Bobby finds out about his street fighting. What? Was it part of Fight Club? Buck stands by his first... Rule number 1, don't talk about it, right? Buck stands by his best friend and supports him wholeheartedly. Buck invites Eddie and Christopher to his apartment for a night of pizza and video games. Count me in. This seems to comfort Eddie, who confides in Buck that traditional therapy might not be for him, and that he's finding it difficult to click with the therapist, Frank. Later, Eddie adds that spending a quiet night in with Buck and Christopher and beating Buck at video games is more like, quote, his kind of therapy. Honestly, same. Very much same. There's nothing a quiet night in, or a couple quiet nights in. Video games, maybe some food, order in or whatever. Maybe a few beers. Yeah, that is amazing. Especially after like a long week or something like that. Oh, it's so good. Oh yeah, she asked him to move in. He freaked and then later proposed. That's funny. They were enemies for like a shift and a half. Oh my gosh. That was just Buck being jealous that Eddie was fitting in quick. But I could see getting a little jealous at that, but obviously got over it very quickly. Buck continues to be there for Eddie when he mentions how Christopher is disappointed that they won't be able to spend Christmas together with Buck, since Buck, Eddie, and the rest of the 118 are scheduled to work on Christmas Day. Buck finds out about Kim and is worried about Eddie. Buck's facial expressions make him seem sad and betrayed by Eddie, keeping Kim a secret from him. Buck also tries to give Christopher advice to encourage him to be sympathetic to Eddie, which quickly becomes worded in a way it can also apply to Buck's feelings of betrayal by Eddie as well. Ironically, by not sharing this feeling, Buck does a similar secret-keeping thing to Eddie. Trends. Buck's personality is more sweet and outgoing, while Eddie's personality is more reserved, almost cynical, and a bit of brooding. This makes them work well together as they can see the same problem from multiple angles, which means together they are more likely to come up with a workable solution. Two are extremely reluctant to explicitly call each other brother or describe themselves as best friends, usually only implying it. Interestingly, this is not true early on in their relationship. This seems to imply their intensity of their bond has grown to the point it would make them feel vulnerable to describe it. Additionally, Eddie seems to avoid addressing intense emotions in general. It's just his general policy. Kim is a season 7 character, a doppelganger of Shannon. They even brought the same actress back. Oh my gosh. Trivia. Buddy is also the name of a popular ship by fans who want to see a romantic or you-know-what relationship between Buck and Eddie. If you're watching this, you already know that's a thing. Eddie was the second person Buck came out as bisexual to, if not counting his date Tommy, the first being Maddie. Well, I would assume you would count Tommy. Tommy exists. He's a person. So definitely the third person. That's kind of funny. Husbands. Oh, dead. 15 best Bobby and Athena scenes in 911 ranked. Let's go. How about let's go top 5? I'm like 15. That seems like a lot. Let's do 5. Actually, that looked interesting. Athena, we'll do 6. Athena and Bobby are reunited after their cruise ship sinks. That is a nightmare scenario. I've never been on a cruise. I want to go on a cruise. Although part of me is like, yeah, but you haven't really been on water like for prolonged periods of time. I've floated on floaties, you know. I've been in a boat for like, I don't know, 10 minutes. I've never actually been on like a long-term sea voyage, if you will. So part of me is a little freaked out. Another part of me doesn't really like large objects like a ship or a tall building. I don't know what that is. I just get uncomfortable, like uneasy around it. I don't know what the heck that is. I just look at it and for some reason it's just imposing. I just feel uneasy. It's not like a fear. It's like, I don't like it. I don't know why that is. Oh gosh, what was that YouTube video I was watching quite a while ago? It was like the indoor, like the Navy, US Navy has like this indoor wave machine where they can test out like certain things and whatnot. Maybe boats. I don't know. I don't know if it's that big, but it was huge. Huge. This massive indoor wave pool thing. It was like football field sizes, like multiple football fields, just huge. And it just made me so uncomfortable looking at it. I was just like, what the heck? Could you imagine being in there and then the waves start and then, yeah, your mind just goes crazy with it. But I definitely do want to go on one, but it's one of those things where I'm like, ooh, I don't know. Maybe the fact that, you know, cruise ships nowadays are like literally floating cities. I saw one, it's the newest one or the biggest one called, oh gosh, what is it called? Something of the Seas. I think they're all something of the seas, but whatever it's called. The largest one, it has like a fake Central Park, like New York vibe. And then it has like a kids section where it's like a kids city. Like it has multiple different like city themed areas. It is wild looking. I'm just looking at this, you know, they have shops that you can go in, restaurants, like the New York place looks so cool because it has like a sidewalk and you're just in this space with trees and you're just like, are you even on a cruise? Or are you just like what are you? You're like in this fake city. It's very odd. But part of me is just like, yeah, it's very interesting. Part of me is just like, all right, at a certain point, do you just get lost? Do you like not realize you're on a boat? Because you can't see any water, can't see anything. You literally just see shops and restaurants and like rooms like way up. It's unbelievable looking. What is it called? It's the Icon of the Seas. That's what it is. Icon of the Seas. It is massive. It cost 1.86 billion euros. 1.86 billion euros. 20 decks. Good grief. Maximum capacity is 7,600 passengers with 2,300 crew. Like, what? It's crazy. Oh, yeah. Let me bring this up real quick. Wonder if I can. Yeah. Okay. Let me. It's wild looking. I know I'm totally going off track here. Look at this thing. Here's the different areas. You got the Aquadome, which is like a theater. Here's the Central Park. Oh my gosh. At a certain point, do you just lose track of where you are? Like, it's got a Cartier store and everything. Like, at a certain point, if you're not feeling any sort of rocking, you're out on the town. Like, you're having a fun time in the city. It is crazy to see. There's a big water park. Big theater. That's how you get in to the cruise liner. It's like the main entrance area. Yeah, it is very expensive. Not surprising. They have to make back what? $1.8 billion. That's just wild. And they don't have a picture of it, but they have like a kids section, which is just wild as well. Like, everything is made towards kids. Tallest waterfall, tallest water slide, largest water park on any cruise ship. 20 decks, 7 swimming pools, 6 water slides. Just unbelievable. Good grief. Anyway, imagine being drunk and lost in that ship. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You would get so lost. Oh, wow. Yeah. But I gotta say, maybe it's just nice where you can forget that you're on a cruise ship. But if you have any sort of issues with water or being on water, maybe you can just completely forget that you're even on a ship. All right. Bobby pops the question is number 5. That's definitely a big moment. Though they hadn't yet been together a year, Athena knew she wanted a future with Bobby, but when she suggests he move in, Bobby panics and isn't sure how to answer, as Jace was saying there earlier. He has to decide what he wants, and for Bobby, that also means he has to come to terms with whether he deserves the happiness presented to him and sees a future there. Oh, that's right, because of his family. Ooh, that is a yikes. There's a conversation with Hen and watching a similar discussion play out on a medical call that finally helps Bobby find his answer. Oh, it happened on Christmas Eve. Bobby calls what it feels like to Athena and viewers alike a Christmas miracle. Wow. Athena and Bobby get heated behind the 118's engine. Number 4. When the second season opens, multiple pressure-related incidents happen across L.A. While Bobby and the 118 are dealing with several blown manhole covers, Athena stops at the scene, bride and groom still in their back seat, to give Bobby an update on why the explosion likely happened, but that isn't all she wants. Once she can tell they're alone behind the engine, Athena pushes Bobby against the ladder truck and kisses him. Bobby and Athena's first date was at the end of Season 1, Episode 10, so fans waited all hiatus for exactly this moment, and boy, did it deliver. Bobby and Athena reconnect with role play, number 3. That's funny. Bobby and Athena are close to empty nesters, with May moving on to her own apartment. Harry goes to the movies. They take advantage of the opportunity. Unfortunately for them, what should be a private, wonderful moment becomes a little more public when May arrives unexpectedly to pick up her mail. Oh, gosh. Bobby reveals he's only wearing an apron that reads "Kiss the Cook." So it's more than what he was wearing before. Oh my gosh. Come by anytime, she says. Call first. It's every child's worst nightmare, but Bobby and Athena sure seem to be having a great time. Oh gosh. That is every kid's nightmare. For sure. Number 2, Athena walks through fire to get Bobby. Season 4 finale begins right where Season 4 episode 13 ended. Bobby and Athena arguing about the state of their marriage, and Eddie Diaz lying on the pavement after being shot. When another firefighter is shot later that day, Athena puts herself on the case, determined to figure out who is targeting the firefighters. Athena and Bobby resolve their issues later in the episode, but that doesn't mean all is well. When she tells him later that she walked through fire to get her partner back, it settles Bobby's lingering fears about the status of the relationship, but at the moment, he's comforted enough just by her presence with him in that factory. Number 1, Bobby comes back to Athena. Obviously, this is after he was shot. Or no, cardiac arrest. After pulling Athena out of the fire, Season 7, Episode 8, Bobby goes into cardiac arrest, likely caused by smoke inhalation. Athena, who was gone after people responsible for the fire, is at the scene of a fire where cartel members are being arrested when Bobby wakes up. Called back to the hospital, finds Bobby sitting up in bed, surrounded by his team. His tired smile when he sees her says he's glad to be alive. Athena is the only one who speaks, whispering, "Welcome back to me," after she kisses him. But their eyes tell the biggest truth. Their love will carry them through anything. Arsoned by the cartel. Interesting. Poor May, so cringe. Yeah, that is, oof. Walking in on your parents is, that would be traumatizing. You would definitely remember that for a while, regardless of how hard you tried to forget it. Although I would say what would be worse than that is hearing through the wall. You know what I mean? Like that would be way worse, I think. Some things you just can't unhear. Just like some things you can't unsee. I think I would rather walk in and close the door quick than to actually like hear that going on. Like that would be brutal. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. Good grief. All right, next next page, because I'm freaking out now. 15 best Buck and Eddie scenes on 911. I'm sorry about that imagery. Ranked. Let's do what we did last time. Let's go top 5. All right. Number 5. Buck and Eddie throw a bachelor party. I'm sure that's funny. Despite Chimney's many objections, Buck is insistent that Chim needs a bachelor party before marrying Maddie. Season 7, Episode 6. There goes the groom. So Buck plans a karaoke party. Oh, gosh. Karaoke party. Invites Hen, Karen, Ravi, Eddie, and even Tommy. Unfortunately, Chimney never shows up, and eventually everyone else departs, leaving Eddie and Buck behind with a room full of alcohol and appetizers. Oh my god, she didn't even show up. Oh no. When a group of women stumble into the wrong room, Buck and Eddie decide to have the bachelor party of their dreams. That's amazing. Note, karaoke has somewhat of a storied history with the 118. Season 2, Episode 12, Chimney begins. 911 reveals that Chimney was inspired to become a firefighter when the karaoke bar he was working at caught on fire, and he helped people get to safety. Season 2, Episode 8, Buck joins Chimney for a drink, only to discover that Chim has also invited Maddie. While they aren't technically dating, sure seems like Maddie and Chimney are on a date when they go up to sing Islands in the Stream. A wonderful duet song. On karaoke, a song that Jennifer Love Hewitt recorded a ballad version of for their wedding, and There Goes the Groom. That's funny. Number 4, Eddie gets shot. Obviously, that's a big one. I'm surprised that's only number 4. Chimney had a medical emergency. Oh, gotcha. Series of events that led to Eddie getting shot. Season 4, episode 13. Complicated, unexpected. Woman falls through her balcony. Son calls 911. When the 118 arrives, they learn her son, Charlie, is immunocompromised. Boy, that took me a second. I looked at that. I'm like, boy, that's a big word. Can't go to the hospital with her, so Eddie stays. Charlie spills a cup, so Eddie opens a cabinet to get paper towels. After Charlie's mother returns and Eddie goes home, he discovers that Charlie's mother might actually be making him sick with the eye drops Eddie spotted in their cabinet. Oh. Before Eddie can do anything, Charlie calls Eddie to tell him that his mother is sick because Charlie wanted to see what would happen if she took the eye drops he had been putting in his food for years. Oh my gosh. That's wild. As they get ready to leave, having loaded Charlie and his mother into separate ambulances, a shot pierces through Eddie's shoulder, spraying blood all over Buck's face. Buck is desperate to keep Eddie with him until they get to the hospital, and Eddie's only question is to ask Buck if he's hurt. One of the most iconic moments in the buddy history, setting the stage for the future of their relationship. Number 3, Buck gets hit by lightning. They're spending most of Season 6, Episode 10 in a flash. That's funny. Dealing with a dry thunderstorm, the 118 is finally doused in rain when they arrive at a large apartment building fire. Oh, gosh. The luck on that, where it starts raining as soon as you show up. After first telling Chimney that it's his turn, Buck makes his way up the ladder, rope wrapped around his waist. Split second, everything changes. Lightning comes so quickly that the team takes a second to realize that Buck has been hit. Eddie is thrown off the ladder truck, but he's still somehow the first one to start back up the ladder to get to Buck, who is now hanging from a rope around his waist. That is that. Good grief. Eddie yelling for Buck and racing up the ladder is a powerful juxtaposition with Buck yelling for Eddie, crawling under the truck to get him in Season 4, Episode 14. Eddie's also the one who lowers Buck down to the gurney, just as Buck hauled Eddie into the cab of the truck. Kind of a nice little flip-flop there. Though Buck seems to express his feelings more loudly, it's clear from Eddie's reaction to Buck's injury that he cares for Buck just as much as Buck cares for him. I knew it was coming, but it was still shocking to see. Oh, gotcha. Pun not intended. Indeed. Buck thinks he's lost Eddie. Number 2. In each of 911's Begins episodes, audiences get a look at how each of the main characters got to where they are in the show's present time. Some, like Season 3, Episode 15, Eddie Begins, switch between the past and the present, ensuring that viewers see how the characters' past and present intertwine. Eddie heads down into a hole the team has dug nearly 40 feet in the ground to rescue a little boy stuck in a well, cuts his line so he can have more time to get the boy, and though he manages to get the boy the chimney, his cut line is ultimately his downfall. Just when the team is about to send the line back down, the tunnel collapses, burying Eddie. He's left in an air pocket and has to dig himself out. That is literally my worst nightmare. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. Buried alive. You have a little air pocket that you're just kind of in, and there's not much air there. Oh gosh. Which is tough enough for viewers to watch. I'm sure it is. Claustrophobia, lack of oxygen. Oh my gosh. Oh. What is happening up top is truly gut-wrenching. When Buck discovers that the tunnel has collapsed, he dives for the mud and begins trying to dig with his hands. It's raining. Buck is yelling Eddie's name, and he finally has to be pulled back by Bobby, the two men collapsing to the ground as Buck continues to yell. The moment is almost painful, and fans feel just as distraught as Buck seems, and is elated when Eddie eventually gets himself out of the tunnel. Good grief. Oh, that would be hard to watch. That would be extremely hard to watch. Ay. Oh. Just watching 127 Hours, that story of the guy who got his arm caught on a rock or something when he was hiking and had to cut his own arm off with his pocket knife. That is terrifying enough. But to be in a well that collapses and you have like a little bit of air and you're just completely covered. Oh, God. Yikes. Tight spaces. Not a fan. In the video, we just saw Buck demands to go down and save Eddie, and then says, so we can end up with 2 cut lines? Because she knows if Buck can't save him, he'll die with him. Yeah, that's brutal. The fact that Hen realizes just how strong their connection is quite nice. Says a lot about their relationship. Number 1, Eddie tells Buck about his will. Season 4, episode 14 is a big finale, for several characters. There's also the biggest for Buck and Eddie. Not only does the audience see Buck haul Eddie into the cab of the fire truck, but Buck takes care of Christopher while Eddie's in the hospital. At the end of the episode, when Eddie is finally released, Buck tells him that he thinks it might have been better if he had been shot instead of Eddie. That's when Eddie spills the beans. Eddie decided he needed to make sure his son would always be taken care of, so he changed his will. In his will, Buck is listed as Christopher's legal guardian if Eddie dies. Quote, no one will ever fight for my son as hard as you, Eddie tells Buck. All he wants to know is why Eddie is finally telling him. Because, Evan, Eddie says, you act like you're expendable, but you're not. It's clear to fans that Buck and Eddie are family, always will be, no matter what the relationship ends up looking like. That is powerful. I'm understanding why being struck by lightning wasn't number 1 or 2. Number 1 and 2 were pretty rough. Oh my gosh. Wow. When Buck came out, Hen says finally to her wife Karen, they obviously have talked about Buck's sexuality at least, and perhaps Eddie's. Interesting. Yeah, that, gosh. Oh, there's so many situations there that just make me uncomfortable. The sinking of the cruise ship would be absolutely terrifying. Terrifying. Everyone would just think of like Titanic and whatnot, even though it's nowhere near that. I remember when that Italian cruise ship like went over on its side. Remember that? And it was just kind of like perched on some like rock or something. I remember people freaking out about that. The captain took off first, like he just completely abandoned ship before anyone else. And just people were just stuck on this thing that was just tilted over. And all I could think of was, I don't know how I would handle that. Like mentally, future, would I ever go back on a cruise? Like how many of those people actually signed up, like, you know, for another cruise? Like, it's one of those things where I'm just like, I don't know. If I went through that once, I don't know if I would do it again. Like I'm assuming everyone that survived the Titanic never went on another cruise. Maybe they did. And they just decided like, hey, that was just a one-off, you know, it's not going to happen again. It's super rare. Shouldn't have happened. So we should be all right. Like maybe, you know, if it's like a warm water cruise or something like that, that's fine. But I'm assuming a lot of them didn't do the Atlantic crossover again. That just seems ridiculous. I don't know if I would do that. I think I would just be like, well, I think I'm done with that. All right, next on the list is What the Water Gave Me. This is a video specifically about Buck from 911. Tempting fate, almost. Indeed. Yeah, at that point, if I make it out the first time, I'm not tempting fate. I'm done. I am definitely done. Wow. So it's good to see the show is just touching on all my like greatest fears and insecurities. That's amazing. I don't know who is writing these episodes, but they're nailing it. They are nailing it. All right, let's go ahead and jump into this one about Buck.
There are a lot of ways to be lost at sea. It's not the same as being abandoned or stranded. Those things happen beyond our control. Sometimes being lost is not knowing how to get from where we are to where we want to be.
Time it took us to where the water was.
Welcome to every kid trying to decide what career they want to go into, what major they want to study. Like that is, we can all relate to that.
I didn't know you made these for us. When do I get mine?
Time goes quicker between the two of us.
Let's get the hell out of here.
Don't forsake me.
The world is an uncertain place, Evan. Children die.
That was his mother, right? I'm assuming his parents didn't take that well when he opened up about, you know, the past and how he was raised and how they treated him and all that stuff. I'm assuming they very much like denied it. Classic, you know, deny. Turn yourself into a victim kind of thing. I'm just assuming that was the case, but I think I might be right.
Pockets full of stones.
The way they look at me. Through me. I can't live with that anymore.
Never wanted another kid. Just had me for parts. Defective.
Oh yeah, the parts. Good grief. They were angry at Maddie for telling him about Daniel. Of course they were. Of course they were. Deflect.
Defective parts.
So he spent his whole life trying to figure it out.
And the ships all left to rest.
And then he finally gets the answer right at the end.
It's taken time, and since the lightning strike, Buck's at peace with them not being real parents. He has his 118 family. Yeah, that makes sense. Honestly. You know, sometimes family can be... What is that called? Oh my gosh. Why am I blanking on that? You can found family, right? You can have a found family. It's just kind of weird how that works out sometimes, but it is what it is. You find family where you can, whether they're blood, whether they're not. As long as you have a good support group around you, you know, they love you, they would do things for you, you would do things for them, of course. You'll be fine, right? So it's great to see Buck actually have that. At a certain point, maybe you repair that relationship. I don't think they will ever come around. Maybe not. Maybe. But you got to be okay with not repairing it. You know what I mean? Like it's on them for that. Definitely not on Buck to make that move. So you got to be okay with it. You know, moving on and just kind of accepting what happened as reality. But I don't know. Maybe usually it works out when people are about to go, you know, die. People start to change their tune a little bit. Maybe that'll happen with his parents. Probably not.
Thank you.
Almost gave up.
We're not giving up.
She's a cruel mistress and a bargain must be made. But oh my love, don't forget me when I let the water take me. So
Dang. Wow, that flash flooding comes out of
You're gonna be
nowhere.
okay. You're gonna be okay, kid. But wherever you are, you have to come back.
Christopher with the parental advice.
When we catch our breaths, we search the shore for all that we lost and everything we loved. For our families. For our dreams
Oh, wow.
and our futures. Our friends and loved ones. And for those who couldn't swim.
Those are still around?
I have spent my entire life feeling like constant disappointment. You think my job is dangerous? I have walked through fire every single day of my life because of you. Because nothing I ever did was good enough.
I don't know what you expected us to do.
Love me anyway. A few choice words can sometimes be the life raft that gets you home.
My work here is done.
You're never gonna be left behind.
You promised to be seen.
You act like you're expendable, but you're wrong.
To be found. I might be in the right place.
Found. There you go.
Isn't that what we're all searching for?
Yes, it is. We're all looking for connection, whether that's romantic or, you know, friends or whatever. We're all looking for that. Oh my gosh. They weren't sure if Bucks would just into the rap. Oh. When the director said it was near suicide, but he'd do it for his kids, Oliver said, well, then Buck's going in for Chris. Oh my gosh. Oy. That's unbelievable. It could never get me to do that, for sure. Could never get me to do that. Boy, that was a great video. Link down below in the YouTube description for the original edit. Go throw it some much deserved love. And check out the channel as well. They might have great videos that you find interesting, or maybe you want to request. Go for it. Actually, I just brought up the Baja Studios because I was like, what? What is this? Founded 1996, 28 years ago. American-owned studio near the resort community in Baja, California, Mexico. Comprises the world's largest stages and water tanks designed for filming. As well as major film work, the facility is used for making commercials, music videos. Oh my God, can you imagine? What kind of music video? Movies for television series, right. Originally built for the reconstruction of RMS Titanic in the 97 film Titanic. Go figure. It has since then built some of the largest sets for numerous other studios, including Tomorrow Never Dies. Oh, yeah. Deep Blue Sea. Weight of Water. Pearl Harbor. Master and Commander. I was thinking Waterworld for some reason, but that's before 96. I was like, that would have been great for Waterworld. Costing an estimated $20 million. There was a requirement to shoot a 775-foot long replica of the ship in the water tank. Obviously, wow. That is so cool. Oh, they sold the studio. Ooh. Ooh. Tourism took a hit. Yikes. Oh, wow. 2018, a resurgence in filmmaking for internet streaming by Amazon, HBO, and Netflix. Lifted prospects for the studio. Oh, it's got a coastline as well. That makes sense. Isn't that wild? It's literally just fake. It's just a facade. That is so cool. I've always enjoyed looking at film studios. Because some of them actually you can go in, but most of them are just fake. Got a fake air conditioner up here. That's so cool. Tank 1 is an infinite horizon pond. Overlooks the Pacific, built to film Titanic. 360,000 square feet. Concrete pool. Full capacity of 17 million gallons. That would freak me out for sure. Used for exterior shooting, wet or dry. Tank can be emptied or filled in 40 hours. Wow. That is so neat. Yeah, Waterworld would have been great for this. Yep, there you go. 911. Tremors? Really? Huh. It's a great movie. 911 and its accurate portrayal of trauma. Conversation with Oliver Stark. Quote, Ryder had a lot of internalized pain and trauma, and Buck does have a lot of that as well, but I don't think he was necessarily aware of it when we started the show. It was much more of a subconscious thing. Buck is a much more, outgoing character, so it's really actually quite fun for me to transition to playing Buck, because as far as I'm concerned, it's just me exploring different parts of myself and getting to bring different parts of myself to those characters. Despite their shared level of trauma, Stark explains the importance of starting each character with a clean slate, even with the shared concepts of trauma and internalized pain. This was when the 5th season was about to start. Quote, we are not here to create something just for the sake of shock value. We're trying to create a show that brings a message of hopefulness and shines a light on first responders and how they put themselves in danger. At the end of the day, we want to show a family who kind of sticks together and is able to make it through to the upside. I think hopefulness is such a big part of the show. One of the big areas that comes to mind is the special effects department, which takes into consideration every explosion and car crash that you see. It's actually happening around us. It's not just CGI. Almost a character in itself with the show, because it's such a big part of the world that we're creating. We were just talking about it on set the other day because they were blowing something up. We're like, wow, you guys have the coolest job. We're able to pull off on this show, and sometimes on pretty short notice. That is really cool. There's something about, practical effects over CGI. I know CGI has basically become just a way for studios to do these things. But if you're not willing to spend the money and the time, it often looks kind of bad, honestly. Practical effects just have a longer shelf life. Watching Jurassic Park, look at the T-Rex and the raptors and stuff, especially the T-Rex. You're just like, wow, this looks so good with the rain and the lighting. It looks real. It's very odd. I just watched it a couple weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago at this point. But yeah, it was just shocking at how good it still looked all the way back in 1993. Just unbelievable. Ryder was his character from Netflix's Into the Badlands. Oh, okay. Buck and his fellow teammates would handle this blackout. By this point in his career, he's pretty well equipped to deal with most things. Been through a lot these past few years. He's able to flick that switch when it comes to his work and his job and be the hero that he needs to be in those moments. That makes sense. The more you see and the more you're in, you're not going to get the same situation twice, usually. There's going to be wrinkles and whatnot. But obviously, the more you see, the easier it gets. Or maybe not easier, but more comfortable. Comfortable with the uncomfortable is probably the best way to put it. Given the context that there's such a stigma on men not getting the mental health support they need, as it's been stigmatized to mean seeking help is showing a sign of weakness and conflicts with masculine gender role expectations. The tale as old as time. Stark, however, was very glad to see his character was getting help towards the end of the season. Yeah, I think it's a really excellent thing. When you think of a firefighter, there's a certain kind of macho attitude. I think of immediately a mustache. I don't know why. I guess that's just kind of a firefighter thing. That might come with that. He further elaborates on his own experiences with mental health support, emotions, and mentions, how it dips into his personal life. I think it's, quote, I think it's important to show that everybody needs help. He emphasizes there's no shame in asking for help. And one thing about seeking out help is therapy is something that is hugely beneficial to everyone. Actually, I watched I think it was a Try Guys video, and one of the firefighters, it was like, Try Guys, try being firefighters. You might have seen it. The firefighter's like, the reason for the mustache is because all that smoke originally, they didn't have like good like oxygen mask connections or something. So it basically, this is kind of gross, but your nose would start running and it would follow the mustache down away from your mouth so you could actually breathe in the oxygen. It's gross, but it's accurate. They can deal with the shock and adrenaline, yes. Part of why Buck at the shooting was hard to watch. He was shaking like a leaf because the emergency was too close to home. Yeah, that is definitely a thing. Like, what's that Mike Tyson saying? Everybody's got a plan till you get punched in the mouth. It's very much like it's different once you are in the situation. And certainly gunfire is one of those things where most people would have no idea what to do. It would be an instant shock. I mean, the only way you would feel comfortable, quote unquote comfortable, is if you were in like some sort of combat and you were just constantly in the gunfights and whatnot. Like that would be the only way that you would, maybe training and stuff like that on top of it. But that'd be the only way you could know how you'd react. Most people, have no idea. I have no idea. This new season, Eddie has a tash for a few episodes. It's definitely split the fandom, either love it or hate it. It is what it is, right? I mean, there's a lot of firefighters that have mustaches. That is just a thing for some reason. Obviously, I told you, a historical reason for it, but I don't think that's the case anymore. I think it's just kind of a thing now. But Stark said, it's something that I think the show has always done very well, the approach to mental health, in the sense that we've never tried to portray these characters as not wanting to show their emotions. They've always been vulnerable. They've always been sensitive. They've always been open. Really important message to them that you can be a hero, super confident, cocky, athletic, all these things. But you can also cry about your day. You can also be open to feelings, feeling all things that you want to feel. There aren't allowed beards for safety, so maybe they settle for a tash. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. I'm assuming, yeah, at that point, you just kind of settle for what you can. Maybe if you join, I'm assuming a lot of it is tradition as well. Like maybe if you join a fire department and everybody's got one, you just feel like that unmentioned pressure. Maybe they mention it. I don't know. But you just kind of feel that social pressure of, maybe I should get one too, I'm assuming there's a little bit of that as well. Being the home of storytelling, Hollywood has the power to talk about these things and interweave their conversations with the picture. Positive side of masculinity. 911 covers many intense storylines, and when asked which storyline has been one he's most proud to be a part of, he did not miss a beat. The tsunami-themed episodes, from the small glimpse that I got into the behind-the-scenes action, it was evident that he is truly proud of this part of the show. It was such an experience for me. We went down. We actually shot the tsunami in Mexico, and they recreated Santa Monica Pier in these water tanks. Just felt like we were making something incredible. He admitted to getting emotional thinking about the work the entire team created. When I sat down to watch it for the first time, it looked exactly how I thought it was going to look. I don't think there's ever been a piece of work I've done that I felt proud of, not just because of myself, but because of everybody's hard work that went into making that exactly what it was. I mean, yeah, that would be a lot of work for sure. Obviously, you have to construct it. You have to film it in a way where it looks realistic. Unbelievable. Such an interesting character, you know? When you first get introduced to Buck, he's just kind of a womanizer. And the first couple minutes of the show, you're just like, ugh, what's going on here? But it's amazing the layers of this character that has just continued to be revealed. It's very interesting. Super interesting, actually. And this is coming from someone who hasn't seen the show. I've seen a couple episodes. I've reacted to a few on the website, toddreacts.com. But it's pretty interesting to see just how much this character has been able to grow, how much we've been introduced to this character, how much more there is to go. Certainly, you know, coming out is one of the biggest storylines so far. And that was in, season 7? So, what's next? Character bio: Buck and his older sister, Maddie, are assumed to be from Hershey, Pennsylvania. Maddie was an ER nurse. Spent a summer bartending a surf beach in South America. About a year before becoming a fireman, Buck originally applied to become a Navy SEAL. He acknowledges lacking some discipline, but still passed the physical test without any problem whatsoever. But he had difficulty turning off his emotions. Because of this, he dropped out. Yeah, that is a tough ask to go through Bud School. So this list of WUMP is trauma, injuries, etc. that Buck has gone through the seasons. Season 1, episode 6, Heartbreaker, choking, collapse, impromptu tracheotomy. Episode 9, mild peril, drowning risk. Season 2, episode 6, given drugs unknowingly, LSD. Oof. 8, held at gunpoint. 12, emotional angst. 14, ladder breaks while climbing, unharmed. Trapped under a fire truck, delayed medical care, crush injury. I have a feeling we're going to see that a lot. Coughing up blood, passes out hospital. Continued on his medical issues. Drowning, cuts on face and arms. Good grief. Collapse from injuries sustained in prior episode. Cut arm during off-duty rescue. Bleeding, falls from building. Friend passes away, emotional wump. Flung by explosion. Thrown by explosion. Shot at, tackled, manhandled. Covered in blood, almost burnt. Good grief. We're at season 4, and I'm like, this character has been through a lot. Punched in the face. Taken hostage. Pistol whipped. Oh my gosh. Struck by lightning. I mean, that one's pretty crazy. Still dead at the end of the episode. Falling from a ladder. Cardiac arrest. In a coma. Overpass collapse. That's terrifying. Briefly strangled. Good grief. Ay. That's a lot of trauma. That's a lot of damage. Yeah, good grief. 10 times 911 broke our hearts. All right, let's do this. Maddie fights back. What we got here? Buck confronts his parents. That would be oof. Bobby asks for help. That'd be interesting. 4th episode. Tina's pursuit of justice for justice. Yeah, this one, confronting his parents, would just be unbelievable to watch. And that's a build-up, too. It's season 4. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that's probably a very intense scene. I've seen bits and pieces, obviously, certainly in this video. But I'm assuming the whole episode is just completely building up to that and then, dealing with it, the aftermath, right? Eddie gets shot. Certainly. Chimney searches for Maddie. That's probably wicked. Wicked crazy. Tense. Everything. Athena attacked. Ooh. Case involving a serial person who did things to people that didn't want it done. I'll say it on YouTube. Athena enters a storage facility she believes belongs to him, calls for backup, unaware that he's there. He attacks her while Maddie and the other dispatchers listen helplessly. Oof. They can hear her fighting for her life through the radio. Good grief. Police horse. Oh, animal death. That'll get tears every time. That'll get tears every time. Halloween themed episode. Incident spooks a police horse, causing him to bolt, get injured in the process. Oof. That's really tragic with horses. How you have to put them down just over, leg things or whatever. But I get it. They have to stand up. But dang. That's one of the things where, I was watching some horse racing. Belmont, Kentucky Derby, that kind of stuff. And then I learned of that. And then I was watching, it must have been one of the more recent ones. I was watching it, and then all of a sudden the announcer's just like, oh yeah, such and such came up lame and has been put down. I'm like, wait, what? It's that fast? Good grief. The race just ended. And they're like, oh yeah, we put him down. I'm like, where? On the racetrack? What the? That's crazy. But, yeah, wow. Horses are absolutely tragic when they get injured. The whole situation's tragic. Watching the horse in pain is sad enough, but it's worsened by the distraught reaction from the policeman who cared for him. Team knows the horse is suffering and makes the difficult decision to put him down. Tragic scene that's impossible to watch without leaving you in tears. I bet. Athena's first fiance was a fellow patrol officer who was killed, so her search for justice. Oh, okay. Police horse was the first time I cried with the show. Yeah. I'm not surprised. That would definitely get me moving. My emotions moving. Hen's car accident. Those are always brutal. Team works to retrieve Evelyn from the crushed car as Hen watches in despair. Unfortunately, Evelyn dies on the scene. Oof. That is brutal. Yeah, the horse one, that is not surprising. Something tells me the escalator proposal is nowhere near the level of the horse. This one's probably pretty brutal. Bobby asking for help. That's episode 4. Wow. Absolute wow. Escalator proposal was horrific. Horrific, you say? Now I'm interested. Scene starts with a lighthearted moment when Daniel proposes to his girlfriend Ariel while going up a mall escalator, but a malfunction causes him to fall and gets stuck under the escalator. Successfully pulls him out to everyone's relief, but seconds later the mood shifts when he suddenly crashes after losing too much blood. Chimney tries his best to revive him, but the man dies right in front of his wife-to-be. Oh my gosh. Her wails of despair as she realizes what happened is painful to watch. Sad reminder that as much as heroes try, they can't always save everyone. Ooh. That is bad publicity for escalators. He gets caught in the mechanism and pulled in. Oh my gosh. Oof. My mind instantly went to like a wood chipper. Like that kind of thing. Like, ooh, that's brutal. It would be absolutely gross because I don't think there's any safety measures there at all. Like no like stopper or anything like that other than like a button or like a key or something like that. Yeah, that's, oof. That would be brutal. There's so many horror stories surrounding escalators in my childhood. Really? What's up, Will? Good grief. Maybe we'll think about that the next time we choose between stairs and an escalator. Ah, who am I kidding? I'm going to take the escalator. All right, let's move on to the next video. Those are amazing 911 edits. I'm assuming this one's going to be just as good, or it may be better. Who knows? Dean and Castiel, Down Bad. Down Bad. It's a Taylor Swift song, apparently. And yeah, this is obviously from Supernatural. Let's go ahead and bring it up. And get in there.
Who are you? I'm the one who gripped you tight and raised you from perdition.
Did you really beat me up? In a cloud of sparkling dust.
The righteous man who begins it is the only one who can finish it.
Showed me that this world is bigger than us, then sent me back where I came from.
You have to stop it.
For a moment I knew cosmic love. Now I'm down bad crying at the gym.
You're angry, Dean. But you're aiming it at everyone in your life.
I'm not gonna beg. Caved. My time is my time.
Just die would make no difference. Down bad, waking up in blood. Staring at the sky, come back and pick me up. Fuck it if I can't have.
Please.
I might just not get up, I might stay down bad. Fuck it if I can't have him. Down bad.
Hopefully that was on Twitch's end. But yes, in 2024. This is one of those shows, though, I think it'll just continue having staying power. I mean, there's so much content, obviously, over 15 years, I think it is. But, yeah, it's very interesting. This show, I'm assuming, will seem dated eventually, but right now, I don't know if it does. I've seen, like, obviously edits and clips and whatnot, and it just doesn't seem that way. But, yeah, what a... Oh, gosh. It's not surprising this was such a well-done show. Number one, the chemistry between Dean and Sam and the actors was just incredible. But the storyline, interesting, right?
Did you take all my old clothes?
Oh, you know what? I had some dropped frames apparently. I haven't seen that before.
In a field in my same old town that somehow seems so hollow now.
I just saw some.
They'll say I'm not
You saw
if
what?
I talk
Interesting.
Yes.
We have to
That's not possible.
mess with the internet, maybe.
For a moment I was heavy.
Obviously not right now.
Now I'm down bad crying at the
Probably
gym.
needs a refresh.
Everything petulance, fuck it if I can't have him.
Please don't go.
I might just die, it would make no difference. Down bad, waking up in blood.
I love you.
Staring at the sky, come back and pick me up. Fuck it if I can't have us. I might just not get
My man,
up, I might
Dean.
stay
Don't
down
be wasting
bad
beer.
like
I don't know.
lost my twin. Fuck it if I can't have him. Down bad,
I need you.
this shit. Fuck it if I can't have him. I loved your hostile takeovers, encounters closer and closer. All your indecent exposures. How dare you say that it's? I'll build you a fort on some planet where they can all understand it. How dare you think it's romantic, leaving me safe and stranded? 'Cause fuck it, I was in love.
That is why I do not watch bloopers of certain shows that I'm like into or whatever, because it totally warps my memory of everything. But I'm sure they were great.
So fuck you if I can't have
Those guys. And it damn near broke me.
Dumb son of a bitch.
Now I'm down bad, crying at the gym. Everything comes out, teenage petulance. Fuck it if I can't have him. I might just die, it would make no difference. Down bad, waking up in blood.
We've lost everything.
Staring at the sky, come back and pick me up. Fuck it if I can't
And
have
now you're
us.
gonna bring him back.
I might just not get up, I might stay down.
You gotta bring Cass back.
Yeah, no.
Get your ass down here.
Yeah, no.
And you make this right. Right here. Right now.
Fuck it if I can't have him. Like I lost my twin.
He made him promises. Said paradise on earth. And Cass bought it. And you know what that got him? It got him dead. Now you might be able to forget about that, but I can't.
I gotta say, Jensen is one of my favorite dramatic actors. At first, when I first saw Supernatural, I saw a couple episodes when it came out. Obviously, they were a little younger, a little fresher. And I was just like, boy, he's just overacting a little bit here. Like, it's a little much. And then as the years went by, I saw more and more of his acting. And I'm like, wow, he has really come into his own. It is very good. He's obviously able to get emotional when he needs to get emotional. But lots of growth. Not surprisingly, with the amount of years and episodes they put into it. But he definitely became a way better actor as the show went on, in my opinion. Maybe you agree with that, maybe you don't, but it seems like there was a little bit of growing there, which honestly is amazing, because by the end of it, from what I've seen in these later seasons and interacting with Destiel, just amazing. Really well done. To the point where you're almost taken aback by how good the acting is. The controlled, like, rage or anxiety or anger or whatever, just really good, really unbelievable. And the fact that he was able to be teary-eyed and emotional and be angry at the same time, that's amazing. I don't know how you fake that, honestly. Let's go ahead and bring up some information on Dean and Destiel. Yeah, it looks like we did have a little bit of drop frames there, but it looks like it's cleared up. It's only 1.2% of the broadcast, the video, which is good. Link down below in the YouTube description for the original edit. Go throw it some much-deserved love. It was an interesting song by Taylor Swift. Definitely the explicit version. Dean and Destiel, quote, this is Destiel to Dean, "You're the most caring man on earth. You're the most selfless. Honestly, what Dean and Sam were doing was very selfless. Loving human being I will ever know. You know, ever since we met, ever since I pulled you out of hell, knowing you has changed me because you cared. I cared. I cared about you. I cared about Sam. I cared about Jack. I cared about the whole world because of you. You changed me, Dean, because it is. I love you. ... Goodbye, Dean. Destiel was one who freed Dean from hell, and they became best friends. Obviously, there's a lot of information on this page. Lots of seasons. Having spent 4 painful months in hell, 40 years in hell years, after being dragged there by relentless hellhounds, Dean is miraculously rescued by the angel Destiel, who later tells Dean, quote, "I'm the one who gripped you tight and raised you from perdition." This rescue mission marked Dean's left shoulder, the handprint of the angel, as well as healing his body from the hellhound. Initially, Dean suspected Sam as his deliverer, but when this proves to be wrong, the brothers, with Bobby Singer's assistance, seek the help of a psychic, Pamela Barnes. From her, the brothers learn of the angel's name, although seeing Destiel's true visage resulted in her eyes being burnt out of her skull. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Thanks for helping, I guess. Sorry about helping. Prior to this unfortunate event, Destiel had tried to communicate with Dean, but his true voice is beyond a human being's capacity to hear and thus failed to establish any meaningful contact. Alternate realities. What is this? Dean gets sent forward in time to 2014 by Zachariah in the end. There, Dean finds a Zombieland-like world and goes looking for familiar faces. Dean finds the rebel camps where he finds himself in Destiel, although Destiel is not what he used to be. Dean is shocked by how loose Destiel is. Dean walks in on Destiel, preparing to have a group fun session, is what we'll call it. Destiel also comments to future Dean how he likes past Dean. On the way to the battlefield, Dean asks Cass what happened to him. Destiel replies, life, and mentions the fact he's no longer an angel. When present Destiel saves Dean from Zachariah, Dean tells him, don't ever change. That's funny. Generally, what happens when someone helps the Winchesters? Yeah, exactly. Do it at your own risk. In his debut, Destiel was tasked by Heaven to watch over Dean, and to date, it is the only command he has not failed to keep. It was revealed in Season 12, episode The Future, that Dean gave Destiel a mixtape of his top 13 Led Zeppelin tracks as a gift. It was revealed in Season 13, episode Tombstone, that Dean made Destiel watch the 93 Western film Tombstone. That's a great movie. If you have not seen it, it's a good movie. Both Dean and Destiel have killed a main antagonist. Both Dean and Destiel have killed an archangel with the help of an outside source of power. Destiel is the ship name, I think I'm saying that right, of the non-canon romantic relationship. The original script for Goodbye Stranger had Dean saying I love you to Destiel in the crypt scene. However, Jensen felt the line was out of character, so it was changed to instead reflect nondescript feelings of a familial nature. I'm sure some people aren't a big fan of that. That is interesting. That is interesting. So Jensen was like, During a one-on-one virtual talk with a fan, Jensen said that he wasn't sure Destiel could feel human emotions such as love, since he is an angel. Oh, that's a good point. That's a pretty decent point. On September 23rd, 2022, the official Amazon Prime Video Twitter made a post about Dean supposedly being bi. Pink, purple, and blue lighting in TV and film. One of the pictures they included was a screen cap of Dean from Last Call. The tweet was subsequently deleted, likely due to the massive fan response, both positive and negative. You know what that is? That's literally a company trying to hop on with the cool kids. And then they realize, oh, let's backtrack a little bit. Backtrack. Backpedal. Destiel's ship may have originated from the last scene of Despair, where fans might have misinterpreted Castiel's final words as a sign of feelings. Ooh, that's interesting. We call that baiting. Yeah. Fans have sent threats. Whoa. Fans have sent threats to the actresses of the girlfriends that Dean has had because of this ship. That's crazy. That is legit crazy. Misinterpreted. Yeah, exactly. Misinterpreted. Obviously, that is very subjective language. Fans sending threats to the actresses, that's crazy. That is absolutely nuts. Like, you can't be that invested. Like, obviously, that is what it is. It's not everybody, right? If there's a group of any sort of people, there's going to be some whack jobs in there, which is just unavoidable. Can't paint the whole, group as someone that would be into that, but it just is what it is. That's an unfortunate reality of humans. If there's more than 2 people gathering for any reason, at least one is going to be a little nuts. Okay, someone has edited this with their strong opinions. It sounds like, yeah, a little bit. I know it's not reciprocated by Dean, but obviously Cass has romantic feelings towards Dean. Excuse me. I mean, both are straight. Whoa. All right. We're making some claims here. Dean has stated various times that he viewed Castiel as another brother to him and Sam. Angels such as Castiel are technically genderless, neither male nor female, and thus could be considered asexual. I had no idea that was a thing. Wait, angels are technically genderless? Really? She's not in the stream, but my girlfriend is sending me Destiel gifts. That's amazing. You know what I'm noticing? Everything down here is not sourced. There's sources here. There's sources up here. Up here. Everything that seems to be subjective is not sourced for obvious reasons. Very interesting. Maybe someone vandalized the wiki. Yeah, I would say so. Good grief. Supernatural 10 things that make no sense about Dean and Castiel's relationship. Why is Dean so invested in Castiel's romantic exploits? When Dean finds out that it may be Castiel's last day alive, he makes it his personal business to try to get Castiel laid, or at least some action. Dean takes Castiel to a strip club. That's, oh my gosh. I'm sure that was very interesting. So that Castiel can have a lap dance. However, Castiel is incredibly awkward. That's not surprising. And all-seeing, and ends up telling the woman that it wasn't her fault that her dad... Oh my God. Oh, wow. That her dad left, prompting her to throw him out. Oh my gosh. Wow. Read the room. Later in a different season, Castiel does get intimate with April, an angel in vessel form. Dean asks if he had protection, and awkwardly Castiel answers, "I had my angel blade." Why does Castiel have a more special relationship with Dean? Well, I'm assuming it comes from the fact that he pulled him from hell. I mean, that kind of makes sense, right? In the beginning of the Dean and Castiel connection, Castiel immediately comes to Dean when he prays, calls for him. An irritated Sam tells Castiel that he had been praying and calling for him, asking if Castiel likes Dean better. Castiel responds, Dean and I do share a more profound bond. I wasn't going to mention it. Well, yeah, Dean is literally marked on the shoulder, apparently. So that would certainly mean a bond, right? Initially. Is this more profound bond before Castiel pulled Dean out of hell? Is it because Dean often seems to bond with people and supernatural beings alike, showing why he's popular with Crowley and Benny? I don't know. Why does Dean disrespect Castiel? From the very beginning of the relationship, Dean has ordered Castiel around, thinking that their trials are more important than his trials in heaven. Castiel tells Dean that he should respect him. After all, he can always drag him back to hell. It's like every threat that a parent says is just like, hey, I know where you were born. I can always put you back. However, this never completely happens. Honestly, that just seems like Dean, frankly. Although Castiel is all power most of the time, Dean continually orders him around, disrespecting him. This is one lesson he learned from his dad, John, and one in which he never really liked receiving. Why does Castiel remain faithfully loyal? Castiel isn't always treated that well by Dean, but he still stays loyal to Dean and Sam. When he doubts many things in his purpose, he still keeps a special spot. Yeah. Easy for me to say. Special spot for Dean. What's up, Rocco Kitty? How's it going? While Sam is part of this equation, Dean is the main part. Even when Dean disrespects Castiel, Castiel remains faithfully loyal. I guess the same could be said about Sam, but they're brothers, so you kind of have to be loyal a little bit. Why does Dean consider Castiel different than other angels? He's not too fond of angels. He considers them dorks, whom he first met as a human, even Anna. While Castiel has gotten numerous second chances, Dean isn't willing to give the other angels a second chance. Castiel had been given orders before, and had at one time tried to be a god, leading to the death of many innocent people. Still, Dean considers Castiel different, someone worth saving and giving a second chance. I mean, this kind of writes itself, doesn't it? Castiel saved him from hell, so I'm going to be a little bit more lenient towards somebody that did that. You know what I mean? How did Dean become the alpha? Well, Dean is an alpha, isn't he? Just from his mannerisms, how he talks, how he carries himself. Castiel is larger than life, can cause someone to become blind if they just glimpse his real image, and can burst radios and eardrums just by speaking. Still, Dean is the one who commands and calls most of the shots. While Dean is a great hunter, Castiel isn't always listened to before a battle or investigation. There are times when Castiel claps back at this and asserts himself, but largely he follows Dean. How is Castiel able to have an emotional connection? Castiel has gone through phases of being an angel and a human. Since he is now an angel, how has he been able to hold on to his human side and his human emotions? These emotions allow him to have a deep connection with Dean, but now he has been able to keep them once his grace has been returned. Why is Dean so harsh on Castiel? Honestly, Dean just seems like a harsh person. I'm going to be honest. Dean seems like a very harsh person. Obviously, fiercely loyal, protective, etc. But, yeah. Don't read this? Okay, I will not. Pit Babe, oh my gosh. Oh, good grief. Why does Dean not try to understand Castiel? I mean, a lot of these questions, I'm assuming, can be answered in the fact that, I don't know, it's Dean. You know what I mean? Like, Dean is Dean. Dean is very from what I've gathered, from what I've seen, very dry. Certainly likes to take charge, very alpha, etc. Todd learned about Omegaverse in a different stream. Briefly. Tried not to. It was just kind of part of something. It was a very broad definition. And then Jace was like, all right, abandon it. It's too much. Not stream friendly. Went very red. Oh, come on now. Dean, contrary to the image that he projects, is very understanding and empathetic. It takes him a little longer to get there than it does Sam, but he does get there. Usually he's also able to admit his character flaws too, those that may have inhibited misunderstanding. However, with Castiel, he's less open to do so. Castiel gave up a lot to be there with them, and Castiel continually gives up a lot of himself. Is there potential to the subtext? Well, don't ask Jensen. Many fandoms ship Destiel as a romantic duo rather than solely the deep friendship that it's shown in the show. Is this why Castiel cares so much about Dean, that special bond they share? Although it's doubtful that Destiel will remain anything other than subtext. Well, yeah. Just look at, how Jensen kind of approached it. This is the last season, so it could be possible. It ain't possible. Supernatural's biggest failure will always be Castiel. Castiel was a fan favorite that suffered from poor development. As a result, one of Supernatural's strongest points quickly became its biggest source of problems. Even still, with many factors playing against him, Castiel has become one of the show's most important, albeit underutilized characters. Castiel became one of the series' most integral characters and an instant fan favorite, portrayed masterfully by the irreplaceable Misha Collins. Castiel was one of Supernatural's best and most versatile characters who wasn't a Winchester. Castiel could be silly comic relief, linchpin in deciding the world's fate, one of the Winchester's closest friends, or all the above. Oh, wow. Updated on August 11th. Castiel became such a beloved character that the CW briefly considered a spin-off series centered on the Angel. Although the idea was never taken forward, fans would love to see Castiel reappear in potential future shows. Given the impact of Castiel's character on an overarching supernatural narrative, we have further updated this article with some more relevant information. Wow, there's news. We're going to do a spin-off. Backstory and personality were fleshed out well. Character was played by 3 different actors. Castiel's inconsistent abilities and choices were frustrating. The Angel became far more powerful over time. Castiel was one of the most powerful beings the Winchesters ever encountered. That said, Castiel wasn't even the strongest angel in existence. However, the series never let him reach his full potential, even when he practically became a god. As Supernatural went on, Castiel and the Angels became weaker, partly due to the introduction of powerful primordial evils like Eve, Satan, and the Leviathans, who easily dominated Heaven's warriors. It was frustrating to see one of the heaviest hitters in Supernatural's earliest seasons be gradually reduced to a glorified side character in terms of power scaling in later arcs. Wow. Dang. Even when Castiel assumed leadership of Heaven and command of its armies, he was still ineffective and inconsequential. In Supernatural's later arcs, Castiel only occasionally stepped in to help the Winchesters instead of joining them for an entire episode like before. And even then, Castiel only appeared to offer the brothers some advice, give them a convenient Deus Mex. Oh my gosh, Machina, good grief, or scold them for doing something they shouldn't have. Frequency of Castiel's contrived absences and losses became something of a running gag among fans. Problem was how he frequently messed up and seemingly failed to learn anything from his errors. Granted, all of Supernatural's characters were infamously prone to making jarringly bad choices. That said, these betrayed Castiel's powerful introduction, original appeal, and the awesome implications his mere presence initially had. Castiel should have been Dean Winchester's lover. There you go. Pairing was teased for a long time without results. All things said, Supernatural's greatest failure regarding Castiel was not letting him be Dean's lover. Worse, fans felt as if Supernatural teased them for more than a decade, only to leave them hanging. This all began in Supernatural's early seasons when fans noticed how great the chemistry was. Destiel's biggest shippers saw this as a perfect foundation of a promising romantic arc and ran with it in fan fiction and theories. Supernatural went a step further and acknowledged Destiel by giving the two more screen time in lighthearted and emotional moments. It also seemed as if the show was laying the groundwork for their proper on-screen romance. Dean and Castiel's interactions in later seasons reaffirmed this by being more intimate than usual. This went on for the rest of Supernatural's 15 seasons and culminated with Castiel finally saying "I love you" to Dean mere seconds before the empty erased him from existence. To add insult to injury, Bobby Singer confirmed that Castiel was resurrected with Jack in the finale, but the angel never showed up to welcome Dean in heaven. To be fair, Castiel's absence was the fault of the pandemic lockdowns. Interesting. This still didn't help the series' case among bitter fans. Because of this, Supernatural became one of the most infamous examples of queerbaiting in pop culture history. In some extreme cases, one or both of the implied lovers is killed off, or a series gets a chance to even show the relationship on screen. Very much the case for Dean and Castiel. Instead, Supernatural had Castiel give a carefully worded confession that ended with him being erased from reality. Not only was Castiel quote, fridged, dying for the sake of the male protagonist's development, immediately after he confessed to Dean, but his confession was tied to a fatal deal with the Empty. It was as if Supernatural itself refused to let Castiel love Dean under pain of death. Might be unfair to call Supernatural homophobic, but it still failed to develop Castiel as a proper love interest for Dean. Worse, it missed the chance to do something truly brave and groundbreaking in terms of Castiel and his fans deserve better. Castiel sacrificed himself to keep Dean safe. I don't know about that. I think that's kind of nice. I like sacrifices in shows. I'm saying what my girlfriend thinks. I've never watched the show. Castiel is arguably the biggest sore spot on Supernatural's legacy. Worst thing about Castiel's missed opportunities is that they make revisiting Supernatural difficult for even its biggest fan. Big disappointment that he stagnated for too many seasons. That said, the fact that Castiel and especially Misha Collins can still be remembered fondly today despite the show's failures is a testament to what Supernatural got right. Boy, this article's like this. It's very, it's taking you for a ride. As messy as his writing, I love how the entire article is just crapping on the show. Or the show direction, etc. The writing, maybe. At the end here, it just completely flips it. It can still be remembered fondly. Testament to what they got right. As messy as his writing and characterization may be, in hindsight, it's impossible to take away the lasting, positive impact that Castiel had on Supernatural and its enduring, loyal fandom. I can say all episodes with Cass are better episodes of the show. That's pretty high praise. That's pretty high praise right there. If the show or the episode is actually better because that person is on the episode, that's how you know you got a strong character, whether or not they do well with it. Only someone who loves the show can eviscerate it like this. That's true. That is a good point. That is a very good point. Especially when you know if you're eviscerating that show, people are going to look over it very closely. And you better be able to back up your points. Yeah, I mean, obviously, that's the one thing about shows, right? One thing about opinions, everybody has one. I'm sure the showrunners or the writers are like, all right, we're ending the show. Let's not get too crazy or, introduce something that we can't really see through, maybe. Or maybe they were just trying to avoid it. I have no idea. I'm not in their heads. I'm not in the writer's room. I can't go back in time. But it is kind of interesting. Like, clearly, the show was purposely putting them on the screen more, according to that article. So they were aware of what people were into, what people were saying, probably watching social media, watching Reddit, maybe. I think I heard once that Hollywood or showrunners or studios put people in charge of looking at public opinion, aka they're reading Reddit, aka they're reading, social media posts, tweets, whatever. Just to kind of keep in touch with what the public is thinking, which is really smart. But yeah, that's interesting. I don't know exactly who had more of a say on that. Clearly, somebody in the writer's room was trying to pair them up or push them in a direction. And then I'm assuming Jensen had a pretty strong no towards that, as far as quotes go, obviously. But I don't know. Would the show have... Yeah, I mean, I guess the show would have been more impactful, I think. That's a fact. That's a fact. But, I don't know. Sometimes it comes from higher ups. Yeah, that's true. That is a good point. Yeah, the studios, executives, C-level, or what do they call it? C-suite executives. They have a lot of say, and sometimes they don't even speak up until like something comes around that they don't want. That's why Bucks didn't come out till season 7 because of it. Oh, that's right. Yeah. The channel, the studio. Also characters like Charlie, Rowena, Crowley, Chuck, Gabriel. Right. I'm not saying that they should be a thing. I just want at least people should not discredit Cass's feelings. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't even know what to say to that. I don't know. That is one of those things where I'm like, I don't get involved much to be pairing people together or anything like that. I really don't. That's not how I watch content or view content. It's interesting. I had no idea this kind of stuff existed, frankly, before this channel. So it's been eye-opening for sure. But I totally get it, you know, especially if you're invested in a show for like 15 seasons. You're going to be thinking about it constantly and what these characters mean to each other. Why are they fighting for each other? I get it. I totally understand it. A lot of Destiel fans have moved on to Buck and Eddie, interestingly. That's not surprising. I kind of get that. It was intended by the writers, performed by Misha, then ignored by some people. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That is a good point. It definitely seems like they were heading in that direction. That is for sure. Like, I'm not even someone that is very observant like that, but even I can see where that was heading and where it was going. And obviously, if, you know, Jensen was answering questions like that, he knew where it was going too. Clearly. All right, let's hop into the next video. It is the Vampire Diaries. It's been a minute. It has been a legit minute since I've reacted to anything Vampire Diaries. This is entitled Turn It Off. Song is Evidence by Falling Up. Let's go ahead and jump in real quick and get this going. Make sure I bring up the video and we're good.
Anna said that vampires don't have to feel pain, but they could turn it off. They shut out their humanity.
It's very true.
Is it easier that way?
Life sucks either way, Jeremy. At least if you're a vampire, you don't have to feel bad about it if you don't want to.
Dang.
Is that what you did?
I did it for a very long time.
That's funny.
I'm immortal.
Either your girlfriend is very intent on paying attention to it, or it's one of those guilty pleasure kind of things.
I am not ready to lose you now. I didn't get to say goodbye to my mom. Elena, stop it! You're scaring me! What else are we supposed to do with the body, Caroline?
That's the plan, right? You're not going to kill tomorrow.
Everything will be fine after today.
Make it stop. You saw what happened to me when I did it.
Yeah, that's my point, Elena. You did it.
Please make it stop.
I just need pain to be gone.
Turn it off. Just turn it off.
Stefan wants to save Sarah's life. All he has to do is shut his humanity off.
It's not gonna happen.
All right, I'm assuming they're talking about turn off your humanity. Is that what I'm getting?
Don't you dare tell me.
I'm assuming they're not talking about lighting, you know. The electric bill, think of it. Turn off the light.
Tell me that you shut it off.
Okay.
He shut it off.
Very different from Lestat and Louis. Indeed. Indeed.
What traumatic event was too much for Damon's Salvador band?
I'm sorry.
I knew you guys were. Let me help you.
You still think I'll be able to find my humanity again?
Yes, I do. And I'm not giving up.
Do you have any idea how pathetic
They are talking about
Let me
humanity.
show you this. This letter from your mom arrived at our dorm just a few days after.
It's about the light. Yeah. Oh my gosh. You know what's funny? Parents always bring that up, and then it just gets drilled into your head. So you're just thinking about it subconsciously. It's unbelievable.
Apparently there was something she wanted to tell you.
But then again, you start paying bills, and you're like, all right, turn that light off.
I need to know what she said in that letter.
Everything in the letter. I was in the exact same situation you're in right
What
now.
letter?
My emotions were off. I wasn't me. And you refuse to accept that. What if one day when this is all over, you want to come home again?
I won't.
Yeah, I'm noticing there has been quite a few drop frames. I'm not exactly sure why that is. Whether it's the internet, whether it's the computer, it needs like a restart or something, or Twitch is having issues or something. Not exactly sure. So apologies about any sort of like jumps, cuts, or anything like that.
In order for me to save myself and leave you, I have shown my humanity, damn it. So I flipped the switch.
I laughed and then I laughed at my laugh.
And I felt nothing. The thing is, I didn't know she was your Meg. So I had the switch in my brain. Feel something I want to feel. Click. It's gone. Easy as pie. Just do whatever it is you gotta do. You want to kill me? You want to hate me? Do it. This is between us.
That's the problem, Damon. I don't want to hate you. Because if I hate you, then I have nothing left.
Don't you dare. Hey, Enzo!
You can tell Damon is such a complicated character. You know, just from reacting to the first couple episodes of Vampire Diaries, I hated Damon. It's like, this guy is the worst iteration of just the worst person you can think of. Whether it's in like high school or whatever, it's just straight up bully with no redeeming qualities. Obviously, there's quite a bit of context and eventually more story, you know, but initially I'm just like, oh, this character, he plays it so well. It's just, you know, the word that comes to mind I can't say. Begins with a D.
I don't care in the world.
I know who you really are.
This isn't you, and you know it.
This isn't you.
You hurt my mom, Elena. How far are you gonna take this?
I like your ribbon. Are you gonna kill me?
Mm-hmm.
How could you? My parents died going over this bridge. I almost died. You're that. You're the one who saved me.
I don't care.
That's interesting. Maybe he didn't enjoy it. I don't know. That's very interesting, though. Maybe he just got some money and said, all right, that's enough. I'm just going to do something else.
What did I do? I almost killed him. Matt, I mean, Bonnie and Caroline. No. I tried to kill you, and then I made you turn it off, and then oh my God.
Caroline, it's okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm so sorry, Stefan. I ruined everything.
It's weird because he does seem like a really good actor.
Mom, it's me, it's Caroline. Hey, come outside. I want to talk to you. I want to read your letter. I can't move on. But I don't want to.
Anna said that vampires don't have to feel pain. But they could turn it off. If they shut out their humanity.
That is an absolute struggle. Turning off emotions, not having them, going full animal, if you will. Wow. That is quite the predicament. In one way, it would be much easier existence to just turn it off and be just a vampire that has no inhibitions. But I don't know. I think I would struggle with that because I would be like, if I turn it off completely, number one, you don't know what will happen, right? You could lose, some memories of some nice things and whatnot, because what are we? We are literally just an amalgamation of memories and experiences and etc. Would you stop having joy for joyous memories? Would you stop having, I don't know. Would you stop being motivated by things that have motivated you in the past? Like, by turning it off, you are risking more than just being sad. Like, being sad is just the start of it. Like a iceberg, if you will. But yeah, I don't know. I think I would leave it on. I would definitely leave it on. Because I don't know. Because if you're not experiencing emotion, every day is the same and gross and gray, and nothing changes. You're just constantly on the level. And as much as not having change or keeping things consistent can feel pretty good, eventually you're just like, all right, every day's the same. There's no point to this. Like, you just become numb, basically, which doesn't interest me in the slightest. You got to have the downs to recognize the ups, right? As much as how terrible a lot of the downs can be, gotta have them. Gotta go through them. Julie Pleck, something, reflects on 15 years of the Vampire Diaries and teases upcoming YA mystery series We Were Liars. 15 years ago, Julie and Kevin thought that on the heels of True Blood and Twilight, vampires were becoming a bit overrated. Luckily, they didn't listen to that instinct when they forged ahead with an adaptation of L.J. Smith's fantasy horror novel, The Vampire Diaries, for the CW. Pilot aired in 2009. Oh my gosh. The fact that is so old right now. And not only was it a resounding success, putting up at what at the time was the largest premiere audience since the network debuted 3 years earlier, it also spawned an entire franchise that would last more than a decade. Vampire Diaries would also influence pop culture and the entire young adult genre in unpredictable ways. So much so that it's still worth talking about 7 years after the final episode. This was written this year. Literally. Wow. Quote, it feels like blip, and yet the longest 15 years of my life. I'm both proud and exhausted. While The Vampire Diaries ended its run in 2017, good grief, how many years ago that was. Wow, time is flying, and it's been a time warp ever since 2020. Buck continued to shepherd the universe through 2 spin-offs, the originals and legacies. The latter was canceled after 4 seasons in 2022, making the last 2 years the first in more than a decade of television without the TVD universe on air. Wow. She doesn't feel it's entirely over, and her entire career championing young adult projects. She also gives a few updates on her upcoming series, We Were Liars. I haven't had a chance to see this yet, but I guess Interview with the Vampire is really spectacular television. And so I love that people are still doing it and doing it well, and that the fans are still responding to the genre. What was the moment when you realized how big the show had gotten? I kept waiting for that moment when I would finally believe that we had this huge hit, and the actual moment never came. It was really when it started airing on Netflix and all the international audience that it had. when the cast started getting invited to conventions all over the world, and generation after generation of young adults would stop me, or their mothers would stop me, tell me the Vampire Diaries was their favorite show. I was not entirely pleased with the decision to cancel Legacies. There had been a Vampire Diaries show on the air for 13 years, and it seemed unfathomable to me that the studio wouldn't want to keep that show going as long as humanly possible. Oh my gosh, we had plans in our minds for more spin-offs and more ways to keep the world going. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow. It was a pretty seminal moment in my career when I realized that often just the unpredictability of the business and the metrics of the business can get in the way of a creative journey. No matter how much people like your show, no matter how much the people who hire you to make it enjoy the process, if there's a business reason to let it go, then people will let it go. Well, yeah. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? That very much reads like someone who is definitely more of a creative and less of a business person. Because honestly, if you've been paying attention to the industry in the past decade plus, you'll realize just how fickle studios are. You could be here today, gone tomorrow, literally, in a day. I felt like Legacies was designed to go on for many, many years and have new generations of cast come through. Just felt like an incredibly short-sighted, missed opportunity all around. Well, I mean, of course she's going to say that. That's her baby. I think that audiences were at least glad to see Candace King and Joseph Morgan back for the finale. Did that lessen the blow? The best thing that Mark and Michael at the CW did for us, knowing that the network was going to put up for sale and that they might not have any control over the future of the programming, was just to warn us that the future was uncertain. And that allowed us to design the ending of the season in a way that if the worst happened, that we could still really leave our audience with something that felt satisfying and emotionally centered for them. And of course, that's going to come in the form of Klaus returning. And for many, it's going to come in the form of Caroline and Klaus being in the show at the same time, although I'm sure other people would have preferred them being together. Yeah, that was nice that they at least gave him a kind of a heads up, where they weren't for sure that it was going to get canceled, but they probably read the tea leaves and was like, you might want to wrap it up. It's pretty amazing. It's wild. Like, you never really realize just how much of the show these creators think of, or writers maybe, certainly the showrunners. Like, they had other ideas for more spin-offs, probably way more seasons, way more, brainstorm sessions of planning of where the show goes. Like, it'd be fascinating to get some sort of inside peek into just how much and how far down the road they plan. Like, that would be very interesting. I saw you recently said something about having an idea for another spin-off. Is that something you're going to pursue more formally? There's, in my mind, always a road to travel that could be another branch of the Vampire Diaries tree. I think that it's a matter of timing and the moment and the idea, so hopefully the stars will align and someone will do it, hopefully with me, but you never know. I don't know. Would it play right now? It could. If it's done well and it has a decent cast, it might. But then again, I wouldn't trust Netflix with it at all. Good God. Before you even know it, it could be gone in a season. I think there's ways of keeping the universe alive without going back and starting over. I was a huge fan of Buffy and Angel. That's not surprising. And those shows really influenced my perspective on how I wanted to tell the stories in the Vampire Diaries. Kevin was a huge fan of Dark Shadows. That really impacted choices he made. It all comes back to Buffy, doesn't it? It all comes back to Buffy. That show was so ahead of its time. Unbelievable. Oh my gosh. Nina Dobrev was sick during her audition. Oh well, she seems good, but we'll keep looking. She's not blonde, and the character in the books is blonde. Then we decided casting somebody for hair color was stupid. Then Nina put herself back on tape. We saw the tape again. Yeah, probably got better, obviously. That would definitely help. Canon of casting The Vampire Diaries is so well documented, I won't bore you with all the details, but it is funny to me that the success of the show was built on this really, really excellent triangle between Damon, Stefan, and Elena. And Stefan was the last person we cast, and Damon almost didn't get the job because he blew his audition so badly when he went in front of the bosses. When you think about the other ways it could have gone and what else could have been, it's just mind-blowing to me. I think if early day CW bosses had their way, it would have been Ashley Simpson, Travis Van Winkle. I can't remember who else they were advocating for, but there was a lot of voices in the process. Ashley Simpson? Oh my gosh. That is hilarious. Oh my gosh. You know what's funny about that is whenever a show or TV or show or movie gets casted, it's hard to think about other people playing that role if it's played well. You know, thinking of like your favorite movie and the actor who played one of your favorite roles, and then imagining somebody else in that role, and you're just like, wouldn't have been as good. You know, wouldn't have been as good. They can't really, they couldn't pull it off. Meanwhile, we have no idea. It might have been better. It's just kind of one of those weird things. It's amazing how sometimes the casting is just perfect and it seems right and it fits. And then sometimes it is so off and terrible. Oh my gosh. Oh boy, we've had some more frame droppage. That's not good. We'll have to look into that. Maybe because I upgraded or updated the software. That might have been something. Not surprising. Vampire Diaries, 72% average popcorn meter from the fans, 86% from the critics. That's surprising. The critics really loved it. For as fervent as the fan base is, I'm surprised this isn't higher. That's actually quite surprising. Why was the Vampire Diaries canceled? Here's why season 8 of the supernatural teen drama series was its last. Let's see here. Show creators who decided it was time to end the series. Interesting. Show was successful for nearly a decade, even continuing after Nina left the series at the end of season 6. But it was the show creators who decided it was time to end the series. When it came down for us, what it came down to for us was let's start talking about the season and see what it feels like, see what stories we want to tell, see what where those stories take us. And then if it feels like it should be over, then it should be over. According to Pleck, it was a combination of narrative reasons and more practical ones like logistics and contracts that were set to end. Oh, yeah. They probably owed the actors way more money. That made it the right call to bring the show to an end on their own terms. Yeah, it's usually money. That is usually what it is. The longer the show goes, the more successful it is, the more the actors want to get paid. And obviously they already lost Nina. So as soon as they start losing main actors, it can just go downhill quick. So they probably realized, you know what? Let's end it while we still have most of the star power. That makes a lot of sense to me, honestly. According to, let's see here. Once we realized that and we made the decision that it should be over, then all the phone calls happened and all the, okay, let's call it. When are we going to call it? How are we going to call it? Conversations were had. Puck announced that season 8 would be the finale season to a crowd of fans at Comic-Con in 2016, partially to assure them that this was not an untimely end brought about by a network-mandated cancellation. It was just time for the Vampire Diaries to end. Yeah, that is, that's definitely a good way to do it. It's obviously better to end it on your own terms instead of ending on a weird cliffhanger or just an abrupt episode which has nothing to do with like the end or any sort of tying up of the storylines. Nothing. That is such a wonderfully done show. Obviously, fervent fan base. Every time I've reacted to a Vampire Diaries video, I've been not surprised, but just enjoyed the amount of fans that the show has, even up until this day. Maybe you dropped off with the Vampire Diaries. Maybe you dropped off with, you know, the originals. Maybe you were watching all the way through season 4, I think, where Legacies was canceled. But it's just, it's always not surprising, but interesting to see the level of fandom that still exists for this show. Oh my gosh, 2009? Oh, jeez. Oh, that takes me back. Good grief. I'm glad it has staying power. That's really cool. Tells you just how good of a show it was. Even though that 72% was that's a little surprising, honestly. Should probably be a little higher. All right, let's go ahead and move over to the last video of the day. It is My Demon. It's a K-drama. This is a TikTok compilation. Let's go ahead and bring it up and get it going. I don't think there's any closed captioning that we need for YouTube, but there might be on the videos. So let's go ahead and move this over. We can actually read it. All right, there we go. Good stuff. Here we go. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Be sure to follow the Twitch channel if you have not. Subscribe to the YouTube channel.
넌 날 더 이상 지켜줄 수 없어. 너 자신조차 지키지 못할 정도로 약하니까.
Dang, called out. You become weak.
Violet, blue, green, red to keep me out. I win. There's things I wanna say to you, but I'll just let you live. Like if you hold me without hurting me, you'll be the first who ever did. There's things I wanna talk about, but better not to give. But if you hold me without hurting me, you'll be the first who ever did. Oh, you think I'm gone 'cause I left, but I'm in the trees, I'm in the breeze, my footsteps on the ground. You see my face in every place, but you can't catch me now.
혼자 급발진하지 말고 이유를 말해. 뭐가 문제인지.
알고 싶어? 뭐가 문제인지? 네가 문제야. 널 만나기 전까지 완벽했던 내가 너랑 엮인 뒤로 다 엉망진창이라고. 너만 아니었으면 난 아무 문제 없어.
그만두자. 넌
경험하지 마.
그래, 하면 되죠. 경험이.
Brutal.
Just because we check the guns at the door doesn't mean our brains will change from hand grenades. You laughing on the psychopath sitting next to you. You laughing on the murderer sitting next to you. You think I'd get it sitting next to you. But after all I've said, please don't forget. Something died 'cause I knew that was the last time. The last time.
도망쳐야 살고 싶으면 도덕이 옆에 있으면 다 죽어나가니까.
All right, I figured out why. Figured out the issue. Bitrate is dropping like crazy.
이렇게 안고 있는데 계속 불러. 언제까지고 대답할게. 도도이. 도도이.
내가 사랑하는 사람들이 나한테 지옥이 됐어. 죽도록 사랑해. 죽도록 원망스러워.
It's a classic.
잘 봐. 이런 게 바로 대머니.
Just enjoying the olives. I think that might be the friendliest looking demon I've ever seen.
넌 오지 마.
That's how they fool you. You're right.
And what hurts the most is people can go from people you know to people you don't. We used to be close, but people can go from people you know to people you don't.
진짜 어때? 영상을 전화해.
솔직히
Probably pretty cool for a little bit. I'm assuming it would eventually get pretty old.
만나서 반가웠어. 오늘 하루 너의 앞길에 불행이 가득하길 바랄게. 그래도 언니, 공공장소에서 이러는 건 죄야. 지금 나 협박하나? 아니, 협박은 아직 시작도 안 했는데.
You can be the beauty and I could be the monster. I wanna make you quiet, I wanna make you nervous. I wanna set you free, but I'm too fucking jealous.
박복규 아니고요. 박복규.
박복규.
복규.
Fuck you.
Oh my gosh. Double fingers. You know it means business. It's so weird how that symbol became so like negative. For that gesture.
너가 왜 벌을 받아 왜? 너 아무것도 잘못한 게 없어.
네가 파괴한 건 결국 너 자신일 뿐이야.
살 수 없어.
You know, it's so sweet in some of these edits, and then you just know that there's a little bit of toxicity there that we're not quite getting the full story.
내 소원은
The magic of the edit, indeed. Indeed. Wow. Wow. Excellent edits. Amazing. Obviously, there's a lot to that story we're not getting. There's a lot to that story we're not getting. Oh my gosh. Let's go ahead and bring up some information so we can figure out what's going on. See some reviews as well. Link down below in the YouTube description for that TikTok compilation edit. We'll throw out some love. That video has 6 views. 6. So go check it out. Check out the channel as well. There might be other compilations on there that you might enjoy. My Demon 2023 on my drama list, which is always interesting to see the reviews. Got an 8.2 out of 10. That is considerably good. Out of 47,000 users. Dodo He is the successor of the Future Group. She doesn't trust in anyone and is cynical about love. He gets involved with a demon named Junggu Wan and makes a contract marriage with him. Oh, interesting. He can live for eternity by making dangerous but sweet deals with humans who endure hellish lives. What? That is... But after looking down upon humans for 200 years, he gets involved with He and somehow loses his power. Interesting. To prevent his own extinction, he must protect He who has taken all of his power. Oh, whoa. Interesting concept. 16 episodes. Okay. See what people are saying. This is always kind of a fascinating concept here. Just okay, not the best. All right. I've missed this. Reminds me why I fell in love with K-dramas in the first place. That's nice. The visual appeal alone, just the visual appeal of the two main leads is enough of a reason to watch the drama. AKA, the leads are hot, so let's watch it. Not to be vain or someone who obsesses over looks, but it's undeniable. Song, gorgeous. Kim, gorgeous. They are practically a work of art. All right. I think we got that one. Not My Demon. Oh, that's clever. Very clever title on that one. Listen, don't come at me, but this ain't it. Storyline is childish and disappointingly lacking. They set up this promising premise of a demon losing his powers, falling in love, and learning to live as a human. Should be interesting, right? Wrong. The demon here is an idiotic lover boy who can't use his brain even after existing for thousands of years. Well, dang. That is harsh. Yeah, some people seriously review bomb shows, so it's always a unique time. Yeah, exactly. It's just kind of, I don't know, I guess you just got to figure that into it. Whenever I'm looking at reviews, I try to catch like a theme, if I can, with the negative reviews. Because obviously there's not a lot of them, with it having an 82% approval, or 82% liked it. So you just kind of, how I handle the negative reviews, you know, review bombing and all that stuff, I try to find substance. What's been said over and over, maybe it's like a repeating, you know, issue with it, that kind of thing. It's like collecting Pokemon, and now there's another piece that fits into the puzzle. You're looking for something incredibly new and mind-blowing. This is not it. You're looking for something lighthearted that has beautiful visuals, comedy, and romance. Just to pass the time, this is it. So it's a popcorn show, basically. Just kind of sit there, relax, enjoy it, let it happen. We may destroy, quote, we may destroy each other at times, but we're also the ones who save each other. Fire. 10 out of 10. Started out strong, lost all momentum, and succumbed to common cliches. Well, I mean, isn't that everything? Doesn't every show have cliches? Out of 10. I don't know about 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 is too much. I don't think I would ever rate anything 10 out of 10. Perfectly average drama. There you go. Wow. It's amazing how low these scores are, and then overall 8. Like what? Terrible, 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 terrible. Pretty great. Pretty great. 8.0. Oh my gosh. I guess the music really did the weight, did the lifting there. It was literally using every cliche a fantasy K-drama can ever think of. The story is just trash, and the sole thing that keeps you hooked is the visuals and chemistry. But I guess it's not terrible, nor excellent, just a nice one-time watch. What? said the story was trash. You said the story was trash. Come on now. My Demon, South Korean television series. It's on Netflix in selected regions. Contract marriage. Devilish heiress on a conglomerate. Demon who temporarily loses his powers. This momentary loss brings them happiness. That is such a succinct synopsis. 200-year-old demon who plots tempting soul-binding contracts with humans, exploiting their vulnerabilities. All right, so the episodes are about an hour long. A little over. Boy, the first script reading was April 12th. That is fast. For this to come out in November. I guess that's a couple months to film and edit. Full cast of My Demon Netflix, every main actor and character. Oh, he goes to Earth after seemingly losing his powers. Gotcha. After losing her parents when she was a child, Dohee was adopted by the chairwoman of the group, which is one of the top 10 companies in Korea, eventually becomes one of the top CEOs in Korea. The rise to the top makes her a primary target for her enemies. Dohee then meets a demon, and their chance encounter leads to an unexpected partnership that changes their lives forever. Demon been roaming the earth for thousands of years. Wait a minute. That said 200-year-old demon. Now it's thousands of years? What's happening here? Making contractual agreements with humans in exchange for a hefty price that involves going to hell. Oh, so it's like Bedazzled. He gets all these wonderful things. Brendan Fraser, it's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. It's a little dated, but it's still very good. He makes a deal with the devil to have all these wonderful lives or whatever. And then eventually the fine print of the contract is he goes to hell. Demon been lying about his age. Indeed. After a fateful encounter with Dohee, he unexpectedly loses his powers as a demon, ultimately transferring them, all of them, to Dohee. As a result, he needs to work together with Dohee to find out how to regain his powers before it's too late. He's been dubbed the son of Netflix since most of his projects are being streamed on the service. Interesting. All right. Golly, you know what? It does sound good, just from the reviews. I like the story idea. Trying to think if I have seen anything like it, or it reminds me of anything. Well, you know what? It kind of reminds me of Lucifer, which is hilarious that I keep bringing that show up. But yeah, Lucifer kept losing his powers or didn't have his abilities with Chloe. And it's because he had a soft spot for her. I don't know if that has any relation to this at all, other than the fact that this demon loses his powers around her. I was thinking Lucifer too. Yeah, it just kind of popped into my head. I was like, I don't know if this is about love, but it seems like it's about love. I'm assuming that's what it is. Or maybe there's a secret about her that nobody knows. Maybe she's also a demon and has no idea. I have no idea. But it does look interesting. Just based off the reviews, it sounds like a one-time watch. The negatives were very much like, it's a one-time watch, somewhat cliche. Maybe the writing isn't the best, but honestly, it still sounds pretty good. her parentage since they died when she was little. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's probably around there too. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Dang, that sounds good. What a way to end it. Excellent edit. Seems like an interesting show. The TikToks were classic as always. Not every show needs to be groundbreaking to be watchable. Indeed. I fully agree. Fully agree. Heck, I don't even need a show to be like perfect or like even good to enjoy it. It's like I've enjoyed bad shows before, or like cheesy shows or shows I would never watch again. I've enjoyed those. There's moments within everything, right? I've said it before and I'll say it again. That movie Gigli is annually ranked as one of the worst movies ever. And there were moments in that movie that I found enjoyable. You know, some laughs, whatever. So there's always good moments in series or movies or whatever where you can find some redeeming qualities. So don't let that be a hindrance to your enjoyment of content. As you've seen on this channel over the years, there's good stuff everywhere. You just have to be open to watching it, open to consuming it. I've seen a lot of stuff on this channel that, frankly, I didn't know existed. I didn't know was good, but I've enjoyed quite a bit of it. So that says something. As long as you're open to explore and get out there and see what people are watching, there you go. Nunu loves the show. Nice. That's awesome. Rocco Kitty just told me. That's awesome. That's very cool. Well, if Nunu likes it, you gotta check it out at least once, right? Just once. Give one episode a try. Heck, it took me 6 episodes to get into Game of Thrones. It took me 6 episodes. I was throughout the entire 6 episodes. I'm like, this seems like, it's kind of slow. These names are really hard to remember. Like, I don't remember any of the towns. I don't remember any of the actors' names. Like, I was just struggling in the first 6 episodes. And then suddenly it clicked, and I was just in it. So, hey, maybe you give it a couple episodes. See if you like it. And don't give up immediately, unless it's just horrendous. And you'll know if it's horrendous because you'll literally just be like, I don't ever want to watch another second of that. I didn't get that far with Game of Thrones. I wasn't like, nah, I don't want to see anything. All right. I hope everyone had a wonderful time, a wonderful Monday night, or whenever you're watching this, I suppose. Timestamps will be available in the YouTube video description, where you can check out videos in whatever order you would like. If you don't like my order, you can jump around, do whatever you want to do. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, please, and thank you. Appreciate everyone who has already subscribed. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would appreciate if you do. We are looking to increase those numbers, hopefully by the end of the year, and just kind of see where this thing goes. Check out toddreacts.com if you would like to request your own videos. You can join the season or series tiers. That'll get you to requesting your own videos, and you will see them on stream. Very cool. And you can join us live on Twitch and hang out. Join the Discord. It's an amazing group of people in the community already in there. Please join and let your opinion be heard. Join us. Have fun. Enjoy. And you'll meet some cool people as well. So it's always fun. A nice distraction after a tough start to the week. Indeed. Indeed. That is the one thing I really enjoy about doing these streams, is the fact that it bookends the week. So whether you're about to go through a grudge of a week, or you're just finishing a terrible week, or you just had a great week, it kind of morphs with that. So it's great. It's great pick me up, and also it's just kind of a nice little high going into the weekend. I always enjoy the Friday show just because it's nice send off and start to the weekend. Check out the collection of summer. Wait, check out the merch collection. There we go. The summer collection is leaving in a couple hours. So you might want to hop on that. By the time you see this, by the time this uploads to YouTube, I'm assuming the winter collection will be available. So check it out. Give it a look. 15% off for members, just automatically applied, ships worldwide. And check the accessories as well. There's going to be quite a few new ones in there. And follow the Twitch channel if you want to join live. And in the Discord, you'll actually see like a little live notification with a link. You can just join from there if you so choose. And yeah, I appreciate everyone hanging out. I hope you enjoyed it. Boy, this has been an interesting one. My mouse was dead for the start. My bit rates were dropping. We dropped 12,000 frames this stream. Unbelievable. That has never happened. So I'm going to refresh the internet and hopefully that doesn't happen again. But I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves. Have a good week. I will see you on Friday. We'll see you on Friday. Thanks for joining, Jace and everyone else. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.